Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Shin Gear. Check them out at shingear.com. The best waterfowl clothes in the industry, by far. Wear them all the time. Vests, boots, suits, everything. They come out with a 3-piece suit. It would be pimping, dog. I'm telling you right now, people are like, damn, and give me one of them Shin suits. They're good stuff. All right, I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
Happy to be here.
And with us from Michigan, Mr. Conner Gough. Conner, how are you doing, sir?
It's a beautiful day or is this considered Central Texas?
This
West
is
Texas?
West Texas.
Northwest Texas.
Boy, we are very far west.
This is where Central and West Texas meet, in my mind.
The big empty, because there ain't shit out here.
No, there's not.
Living
Weed
in
harvest.
paradise.
Weed harvest. Yeah, there's not much going on out here right now.
Once you start going west, you just keep driving. Make sure you got a full tank of fuel.
You're going to go to see trees. If you kept further west, you would have to get to New Mexico in the mountains or Arizona
Yeah.
to find really a canopy of trees outside of mesquites.
It starts looking pretty vast, that's for sure.
It gets worse. This is the end of the kind of where there are some trees.
Yeah.
Because you can get further, about 30 miles west of here, there ain't shit. Have you been to El Paso ever?
If I have, it's been a long time.
Don't go.
It's an ashtray. Because if you think of an ashtray, that's what you'd think, just sand and some rocks. They don't even have trees out there.
Does it at least smell good?
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever even actually been to El Paso.
I've been there for a couple of times. I don't remember it smelling bad. I'm sure when you get close to the border, it does because the sewage and stuff. I mean, you get to the border towns in Texas, they have a distinct smell. Now it's cocaine and blood, but it used to be just sewage because they didn't have the sewage systems we did, so they'd smell when you cross. And I love Mexico. I'm telling you right now, 30, 40 years ago, if I had some money put back and I was an older person, I'd move to Mexico and retired. Food is great. The people are so nice. It's just corrupt as shit nowadays. It's kind of like New York City.
So where are you? You just got back from Florida? Is this like you're making like a big loop? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we wrapped up turkey season. We're one of the latest, or if not we may be the latest turkey season in the U.S. We go to June 7th. And the June season is a application, so you have to get a license earlier on. And if there's leftover, some of the license areas have quotas that are bigger. There's some that are left over. So you can buy licenses, during that June season, typically. But we just wrapped up turkey season June 7th. And as you know, you get to the end of a guide season, there's a lot of equipment to put away and just the maintenance and stuff like that. So hung out at home with the family and chilled out with Granny, got a couple extra pies and meals in there, and then just hit the road. So I came from Michigan, headed straight down to Lafayette, Louisiana area, had a couple stops down that way. I always like to be personable and get in touch with some of our clients that, come up a few times a year. It's like anytime I can go hang out with their families and go share a meal or get an experience in their hometown, they always invite you down. So caught up with a couple of them and had a few more business-minded meetings with some other people in between here and there, and stopped in Houston and did a podcast with Wyatt Mallett at Mallard Bay. And goodness, I thought construction was bad in Michigan.
Oh,
the amount of construction between Louisiana and Houston, and even Dallas was awful.
Dallas is a shit show.
Dallas has gotten terrible.
It's awful.
I always thought the structure of the highways around Dallas, even when there was lots of traffic, everything flowed pretty well. But
it's a shit show.
They got stuff necked down to one lane.
It's growing,
and
they're outgrowing their infrastructure.
Yeah,
it's terrible. We used to, when you left here, I used to be able to leave my house and could be at Grapevine at Bass Pro Shops at the NBC. We used to stay at the hotel there, which is at the airport, and it would take me 2 hours and 30 to 2 hours and 45 minutes because I drive and I always go to Wichita Falls because it's all highway. You don't have to slow down now. Now, by the time you get to Buc-ee's, it's bumper to bumper traffic, and so it takes what used to take 10 minutes now takes 45 minutes.
How many miles do you think that is?
Oh, I don't even know how far it can be.
180?
No, do you mean from Buc-ee's to the airport? 10 miles maybe?
No, it's further than that.
You think it can't be much more?
Yeah, it's like 20 or 30.
I don't think it's that far.
But it is.
But you're bumper to bumper.
It's just terrible. It used to not be that way.
From Buc-ee's on, right at Buc-ee's, there's an overpass right there and a stoplight, and everything goes from 3 lanes to 1 lane. and it's just a nightmare.
They opened up the road the other day. Well, you just got back from the airport. Did you come home that way?
Yeah.
Did they have the bypass open now?
They have a bypass open, but it only goes for like half a mile, and then it dumps you right back down.
On coming back west?
Yes.
No, the other day I rode it. It was a lot further than that. It's like 2 or 3 miles now.
That whatever that weird exit name is, Lily Wischenheimer.
Yeah.
You get off on it, and then you're down, and then you can come up on the overpass, but it's only like half a mile, and then it spits you back out. You basically, when I drove on it, you avoided one stoplight.
That's going east. When you're going west, you can go like 3 miles now, where they've built out that where they built. Meanwhile, they've taken that area and they've just congested it because all that growth is South Lake, Grapevine, that whole area, Little Elm, Argyle. I think Little Elm's there. I know Argyle's there, but that whole area all the way to Texas City is just growing and growing and growing. And they say that I think by 2045 or
2100.
Is it 2,100?
I think so.
It's supposed to be the biggest metropolitan area in the United States with 40 million people. There's 8 million people there now. So it's going to be 5 times as big. I don't know where the fuck they're going to put them at.
Because I went through it at like 11:30, and it was still just jamming.
Oh, it's terrible. And it used to not. Dallas used to be pretty easy. Houston's always been a pain in the ass to drive in. Always. Which it's always been a bigger city.
19 miles.
It's 19 miles from Buc-ee's to South Lake.
No, to the airport.
Well, same thing though. So 20 miles basically, and it takes 45 minutes, which used to take about 15 to 17 minutes. You used to be able to drive 80 miles an hour there. And now it's
not
terrible.
in that traffic.
No, it's gotten bad. It's like the last couple of times, almost now, I hate connecting flights. I just cannot stand a connecting flight because something may always miss a flight. Or something's always delayed. Just something always screwed up. So I used to go to Abilene, so now a lot of times we'll go to Abilene to DFW. It's a 30-minute flight from Abilene to DFW. It's an easy connection. The only thing is that you're on a little separate side of the airport, and if you have an hour and a half layover, you're good. It's almost worth it because of the traffic.
Right.
And then when you get home in Abilene, it's only an hour drive home. It's nice.
Yeah. So Michigan's all fucked up with traffic? Like that? What are they doing? Just rebuilding their infrastructure?
Michigan's just a mess with the way that the weather is, right? Like when things freeze and then they thaw, it just lifts the roads up and sets them down, lifts the roads up, sets them down. So like they physically cannot fix the roads fast enough. So then you deal with, the crews that are repairing the roads that, at that point,
y'all's roads are terrible.
Oh, they're bad. So you got people patching potholes and then crews that are out doing construction. And so, highways all over the place. Like we always say that the new state flower is a traffic cone. So in the springtime, the state flower spawns.
It was bad. I went to a really cool place when I was in Michigan. We went to Battle Creek, and we went to the Kellogg's farm or manor. Have you been to that?
I haven't been to the farm.
It's a house built like in 1910, 1920, somewhere in there, and it's where him and his wife lived at. And they gave it to Michigan State, and I guess Michigan State you can do tours. It's a self-guided tour. You can walk through their home. Don't cost nothing. Of course, I got the little donation box in the bottom. But that's a beautiful area up there. I love Michigan. I think you live in one of the prettiest states in the country. Yeah,
there's all sorts of versatility in what you want to do. There's the historical aspect of that where, you start talking about Kellogg's and what that used to be for that area. Battle Creek used to be booming, and it's sort of trended down over the, last couple decades anyways.
Corey told me it was a ghetto town now.
Yeah, you kind of got to watch where you're walking. I was listening to Matt Robertson's podcast about Gary. It ain't quite as bad as Gary, Indiana.
Gary's bad.
But I don't think I'd send a young daughter on her own to a gas station to go get a snack or anything either. Somebody's going to get mugged. But
can you imagine Maddie walking around the street in Gary, Indiana?
With shootings going on? That's wild.
Him and his mullet.
Who's the white guy with the mullet over there? He's a target right there.
Yeah, he stands out. He stands out in the crowd. And he's a little taller.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you know what's good for you, I don't think I'm going to be messing with some redneck from
that's true.
Central U.S.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the further north you go in the state, the more room there is for recreation, and obviously the Upper Peninsula too.
The OUP.
That's right. Oh boy.
I love Michigan. The Mackinac Island area is beautiful. We went there too. I've been there 3 times now to Mackinac Island. The summertime, it's absolutely terrible. We never did. We took Andy and them when we went in the summer, and it was like getting off at Disney World.
Just congested.
Oh, Jesus. It's horse shit and fudge. That's all you smelled. And it was just shoulder to shoulder. It's terrible. Me and Michelle went last October.
beautiful.
Oh my God, it's beautiful, and there wasn't a lot
Breezy,
of people there.
Yeah,
it was cold.
Yeah,
I took Jeff and them at Shin sent me one of the heavy duty the jackets, and I got it, and I thought, damn, coat weighs 13 pounds. That's got to be cold to wear that.
Needed it.
I put it in my bag, and then we got up there, and it really wasn't that cold. And I told Michelle when we were going to Mackinac, I said, I'm gonna take my coat just in case. Well, we got to the boat ferry and the docks. It was it wasn't cold, but it was kind of wind blowing. I thought, I'm gonna go get my coat. It was a smart move because it was a cold on the island.
Yep.
But man, it was nice, and we went for the same restaurants that had 2-hour waits in the summer. You could walk right in. Yeah, and we went and had a pumpkin soup that was outstanding. I'd had pumpkin soup before, and I didn't like it. It was very, very good. It was like almost like chili. It really surprised me. But I liked Mackinac, and I love it in the fall up there. And then we went to Tahlequah Falls, maybe, is that what they call it?
Tequamanon.
Yeah,
that was close.
Yep. Whitefish Bay
Solid
area.
effort.
Whitefish Bay.
Yep,
it's pretty.
Yeah.
I told everybody up there, Michigan is a treasure a lot of people don't know about. When you think of Michigan, you think of Detroit.
Right.
I like Detroit. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed the shit out of Detroit.
There's a lot to do there, but at the end of the day, too, I mean, there's bad parts, of
course.
But as long as you stay out of those areas,
I like those bad
good.
parts. I want to see them. I went to Motown. I wanted to see the original Motown deal, and then we went down to Michelle bullshitted her way and got to go into the field at Ford Field through the gates, and they were going to have a football game in a couple of days. It was during the Tigers were playing in the American League Championship Series while we were there. Went to Lafayette Coney downtown, had a real hot dog or chili dog, and I wanted to do that. I liked it. The funniest thing ever, though, is there's a white guy. We went to what's the place got all the Muslims?
Oh,
Dearborn.
Yep.
We went in Dearborn, and so I wanted to see all the, I heard all they have all that shit in the morning and the kneeling rugs and all the towers and shit. So I wanted to see it. So we're driving around. So there's this white guy on the corner. I said, hey, where's all that Muslim bullshit at? I want to see it. Well, he wouldn't say shit. He's scared to death. I ain't gonna get Michelle goes, I think it's the tone you used with him.
Right.
Muslim bullshit.
Right.
So
Not real welcoming.
Did you do 8 Mile while you were there?
yeah.
You did do 8 Mile?
It's no different than driving down Industrial Boulevard in Abilene.
Really?
You could, there was some couple of titty bars there and stuff, but it was nothing.
Did you go during the day?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the time I was there. We didn't spend the night in Detroit. We stayed in Ann Arbor one night, and then we stayed the rest of the time up at Indian River up north by Mackinac.
And I know it's this way across the U.S. or even around the world, but I mean, the amount of stuff that goes on every single day, just even in Detroit, that doesn't ever get news coverage because they don't want people to be scared of their own shadow in their own neighborhood, even though, just like going back to that same thing of people shooting up a block away from a gas station in Gary, I mean, the amount of freeway shootings and robberies and just, I mean, that's a daily occurrence.
Yeah. I wonder what the travel advisory would legitimately be. Like, if you were not from America, because I just saw the Dominican Republic, they raise it to a level 3 travel advisory because of Haiti, which I didn't realize until I went to the Dominican. It's just an imaginary line that separates Haiti from the Dominican Republic. I thought it was like this own separate thing. And then I was nervous the whole fucking time because I was like, oh, great, they're going to invade the Dominican. But like, what a legitimate travel advisory would be in America.
To certain places or just the whole country? Because there's countries right now that are saying don't come to America because they got all this fake bullshit about MAGA people are just shooting everybody.
If you took out the fake bullshit and like legitimately looked at how dangerous some of these cities are, I wonder what the travel advisory would be.
You're more safe in Mexico where we are than you are to be in most big cities in America in certain places.
Detroit, Dallas.
Yeah. Well, like Dallas, you go to South Oak Cliff, you're asking to get shot maybe.
Right.
You go to Highland Park, you can fucking jog nude at midnight. Nobody's going to bother you. I mean, it's kind of like when we were in California, we went to Beverly Hills. Well, before you got to Beverly Hills, there was a bunch of homeless and shit. We got into Beverly Hills, and you know what? None of that shit going on. Yes. Sign welcome to Beverly Hills you see everywhere, and the yards are all manicured, and there's a bus stop there, and all the ladies are wearing their maid uniforms coming out of work and stuff. But there wasn't a lot of riffraff because we went down some back streets. It was completely different. But you went into like Sunset Boulevard and all that shit, and it's, I wanted to go to Compton, and our driver would not take us. I wanted to go see the shit. I wanted to go to the ghetto, and I wanted to see all that crap because I like stuff like that. Like when we go to New York City, I don't want to just go to Manhattan. I want to drive down the streets in the little boroughs and see different neighborhoods and stuff.
Right.
But like, I get all spun up before I travel. Like if I had a trip to the Dominican, I'd be a ball of nerves.
You go to Mexico every year.
They're at a level 3. That's all I'd be thinking about. But like, is it any different than going to Dallas?
Is there any seedy areas in Costa Rica where you're at? Like some places that
Costa Rica?
Or Costa Rica. That's where you just got back from, right?
Yes. I'm sure there is, but I didn't see it.
But you don't get nervous in town nowhere?
No, fuck no.
Do you get nervous in Mexico, though? Because I don't.
Nah, yeah, I do.
In Puerto Vallarta you did?
No, not in Puerto Vallarta. There
too many gay people?
Too many gay people. Like, there's way easier targets than me in Puerto Vallarta. Cancun, I get nervous from the airport until we get to the resort.
But at Isla, you don't get nervous?
From the airport in Cancun till I get to where I'm going, I'm aware, not nervous.
But once you got on Isla, were you worried at all? Because I wasn't. But Cancun, I don't not trust it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't want to be in Miami either.
No.
Now, certain places in Miami.
I'm sure there's a bad part of Costa Rica. I just hadn't found it yet.
I ended up in Miami in early April this year. I had a couple meetings down towards the South Beach area and some of those high rises. And I couldn't believe how rough a shape Miami is in.
All big cities.
But it just was so hodgepodge. Like everything looked like it hadn't been manicured in forever. I go to a grocery store and there's people that shit in the parking lot and like God. It's just unreal. Like, it was like a third world country.
Every big city, Seattle, one of the prettiest places in the United States, has got more homeless, weird sumbitches in everywhere outside of probably LA or somewhere. It just blows my mind that these people are taking over or that they're letting them take them over.
Right.
Is it inhumane to push them off somewhere and put a camp somewhere? I don't think so. If I was mayor of one of those big cities, that's the first thing I'd say is, listen, we're going to designate 500 acres over here, homeless people. We're going to put a concertina wire and barbed wire through it. You want to go live over there and be homeless? You go right ahead.
But don't bring down society.
We're taking you off
all that.
We're taking you off our streets, you know? If you want to kill each other, knock yourself out. Nobody'd ever let you do that because everybody's too politically correct.
Right.
But, I mean, why should, for the greater good, San Francisco's been ruined because of this shit. One of the most iconic cities in America. New Orleans is getting that way now. It's getting really bad. You talk about Miami. I mean, there's always been some seedy stuff in big cities, but just it's gotten bad. Now, Detroit,
overbearing.
They say Detroit's really cleaning it up, though. They got a new mayor, and they said it's made it a lot better place to be.
Yeah, you don't really notice the homeless quite as much up north. I don't know if it's because of the weather, being so cold in the wintertime or what, but I can't imagine it's a real good place to want to live.
Have you seen Rome recently? This guy, he travels all over, and he just made this video. One of the
most touristic places on earth.
Yeah.
But today, we're not here to go do sightseeing. We're here to catch some pickpockets.
That's the guy with the hot chicks always.
Grazie, amigo. Grazie.
But
we just got VIP entrance. And thieves have been.
Well, maybe this wasn't the video.
All of your belongings.
Hang on.
That's the guy. He goes and gets hot chicks everywhere he goes.
Oh, he does?
Oh, everywhere. I got him on my. He's on my Instagram, and everywhere he's at, he's got some hot chick. He'll go to like a third world country and be the only guy that he'll say all the time, "I'm the only white guy you can even see." And he's got a camera and goes through ghettos and shit. And
but he did that in Rome. And I mean, it's just all, here it is.
Look at the fucking states of the city.
I mean, they got graffiti on the wall.
This looks like in Bangladesh or something. Look at this, guys.
And like they even tell them, like, don't go down that street. They'll mug you.
Quindi stiamo sempre attenti, occhi aperti. Sì. È la strada molto pericolosa dove si.
You know what the common thing is there?
They're all Muslims.
Bingo.
But they've let these Muslims infiltrate their country, and they've just turned one of the most beautiful cities in the world into a third world.
That's why I don't want to go there no more. And I'm Italian. But before we get into this, I want to give prayers out to the folks in Idaho. Did you hear about what happened yesterday?
So I saw just a couple headlines as it was somewhat breaking that there was some shooting going on. But past that, I didn't really see anything.
Guy built a fire, started a fire, and then shot, I think he shot 13 people.
2 died?
2 firemen and 11 cops got shot, I think. But then he started picking them off with a sniper rifle, and they ended up killing him. But they had to move his body real fast. The FBI was on scene. Department of Homeland, Trump wasn't screwing around. He had Department of Homeland Security there like 4 hours with helicopters. I mean, he had assets for the way it should be done in our country.
Zach says he thinks it was that the dad Ranger.
Who?
That ex-Army Ranger.
The guy that killed his 3 daughters.
Yeah.
That's the story, is they think that's who it is, but they have not released a name yet.
Right.
But that's what I heard coming over here this morning, that they think that that might be him, but they haven't released it. But just what a piece of shit. Anyways, my prayers and thoughts go to those people. That's terrible. My dad was a fireman. I can't imagine getting a call of fire to go help somebody put out a fire and then get shot doing your job.
My dad's been a state trooper or a police officer in law enforcement my entire life, and that's the same thing. It's just, again, the stuff that happens in their day-to-day that nobody ever knows about and that they deal with.
Oh.
For what they get, or the recognition that they deserve, they don't get. It's a very, very difficult job, and the risk that they put themselves in the line of fire like that.
Everybody lies to them. They get lied to all day long.
Right.
And then people are like, oh, well, they were rude. They just pulled a 13-year-old girl out of a wreck.
Their parents just died or whatever.
Or and have to go talk to their parents, or they just saw a 6-year-old kid got molested by a crazy uncle or whatever the hell it is. It's
right.
the worst shit you could imagine in your life they deal with.
Every day.
And then the next call they get, they got to go, 2 fat-ass chicks are fighting over a fucking icy at 7-Eleven, and they got to fucking... And that's the kind of bullshit they put up with all the time, you know?
And then they wonder why the 2 fat chicks fighting over the Slurpee didn't, why they were handled a little roughly.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, well, fuck.
Tase their ass.
Yep.
If you want to see some shit go down, go to a Popeye's chicken. I'm telling you right now, you can go to the nastiest neighborhood in the world and go to a Popeye's chicken and go put a camera up in there, and I promise
Constant
you,
entertainment.
it's all the time. Yes, because it's the same shit over and over and over and over again. A buddy of mine works for a big fast food company, big one, big corporate job. One of their problems is they're introducing like a Red Bull energy drink to their menu. Well, their soda fountains are help yourself. You go over and you get, nobody drinks 32 ounces of Coke at a time. I mean, it's not, how many times, who do you know that can drink 32 ounces of Coke at a setting? So it's a free for all. The 32 ounces?
Isn't that 32 ounces at the convenience store?
That's a bunch. How much is that water?
16.
16?
So 2 of those back to back with your meal. Okay, are you going to drink 64 though?
No.
But what I'm saying is, so that in their money, they know that the average person is
You're
going to
only
buy
gonna drink
20
so
ounces
much.
of soda or whatever it is. But this energy drink, they got people going in and just getting, filling up containers with these things. So they're going to have to put them in the back and put them somewhere. But it just amazes me people's mindset that they think it's okay. Because he had told me before they had some McDonald's in some inner city areas, and like people would come up with their cup, or even one lady brung like a big an igloo cooler and take it to the soccer team down the street and fill their ice up and stuff. Like it's a fucking convenience store. They don't pay for shit.
Yeah, large at McDonald's is 30 ounces.
Okay. In their accounting, they figure you're going to buy a 30-ounce drink, you're going to fill it up. Mm-hmm. They don't figure you're going to fill it up 6 times in a setting. Right. And that's what people do.
Right.
And it just blows my mind the way people's mindset is amazing.
Using and abusing.
All the time. They just use the system up. It's like the people stealing shit at the stores. Well, they've got insurance. Well, why do you think our insurance costs so damn much?
Right.
We start shooting fucking people and put a quarter on them. That's what a bullet costs. It's a lot cheaper.
Might save some money.
Yeah. They put a guy to sleep in Mississippi in the prison the other day. Been in prison since 1976.
Been feeding him for a while.
50 years. They spent $5 million on him to put him to sleep. 22 between the eyes in 1977 would have saved a shitload of money. And what do we gain by keeping him alive for 50 years? Not a damn thing.
Bogged up the court system.
Yep. 50
About it.
freaking years.
And that's not just a one-time thing. That's any of these people that are on death row for
all over the nation.
decades.
If you have a 50-year sentence, 50 years or more sentence, that'll put you to sleep.
See ya.
I mean, who's going to stay in prison for 50 years and come out and have any life afterwards? I mean, you're 28 years old?
27.
27 years old. If you went to prison for 50 years, who do you think's around when you're 77 to come see you? Who's going to pick you up? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit.
And think about the state your brain's going to be in after being
you're just a
Yes.
career criminal
incarcerated
at that point.
for that long.
Somebody in for 10 years. I've got some friends of mine that been to prison. That was prison. One of my buddies was in prison for 5 years. He's got a great life now.
Sure.
He's done a lot. I mean, he learned his lesson.
10 years, you're pushing it though.
Yeah.
If you go in at 27 and come out at 37,
you're
it's tough.
What do they call that? God dang it! It's not indoctrinated. Institutionalized at 10 years. There comes a time where you are, but there's people at 10 years, even 20 years that got kids that maybe they got in trouble at 20 years old and they may be able to build their life again. But 50 years, you're not building your life again.
No
There's
way.
nothing. I mean, your whole life is gone.
Do you get Social Security in prison?
you would if you were entitled to it. I mean, if you turned 62 years old and you're in prison, and you'd be entitled to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I would think
put it
so.
on your card or what?
Commissary.
Or your
Put it on your commissary?
or your family can have it or whatever.
I'm just wondering.
I don't know. Have you seen the videos of the guy that makes the prison food all the time? Oh, he does. He cuts it up with a credit card and shit. He makes all kinds of stuff. You get guys in prison, they got a lot of time on their hands.
They get pretty creative.
They very, very creative. They go to the commissary and they make ice cream. They make all kinds of shit out of just normal things that you'll. And their big spice thing is they love to buy the spicy ramen. And those little packets of spicy stuff, a lot of times they don't even use the ramen, they just use the spicy stuff. But they're very innovative on the shit they cook on there.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
You gotta be. Boil something in the back of a toilet. We had a guy that worked out here. He would make prison moonshine, and he would do it all in a toilet. Had to do it.
Yeah.
That's how he did it forever. So he just kept on doing it. We were noticing our corn was going missing. It's like, where the fuck where's all of our corn going? And he'd put it in like 5-gallon buckets and let that shit ferment. And then he'd go do whatever he would do and
make him some mash.
Do in the toilet, back of the toilet. Yeah. It's like, God almighty. Like, it's way easy. We can just go to Allsup's. But we kind of cut him off from drinking and everything. So
he could drink on Wednesday.
He could drink on Wednesday.
1 can of beer. So instead of going and getting
No. You told him he could have 1 drink.
1 drink on a Wednesday.
So he just had 10,000 proof moonshine, and that would be his 1 drink.
Got to make
the
most of it.
From here to there.
Or he'd buy that. Is it Four Loko?
Yeah, he loved Four Loko.
Oh. So one time he buys this blackberry Four Loko. Do you know what Four Loko is?
That was a drink of choice of a lot of college buddies. I don't drink, so not me, but
it is so anyways, he goes, you ever had one? No. You try one.
It's like rubbing alcohol.
So I take a sip of it, and I was like, oh, God.
It's like an energy drink mixed with alcohol.
That's terrible.
It is not good.
And then I had a guy sent me a bottle of, like, we have a guy sent us a bottle of bourbon the other day here. I appreciate that very much, Mr. Weingart. But a guy sent me a bottle of bourbon one time, and I put it at my desk. So I couldn't keep the whiskey laying around like this when Ed is here. So anyways, I told Ed, I said, it was for my 50th birthday, maybe. I had tons of people send us. I had all kinds of bottles of booze. So anyways, I told Ed, I said, there's a bottle of TX bourbon right there. I said, you can have you a drink, 1 shot, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays if you want it. People listening to me are like, I can't believe you dictate. The grown man had a lot of problems, so I was helping him out. That was kind of his reward for staying sober the rest of the time. So anyways, I noticed one time the bottle was about 1/4 of it left, like 2 weeks maybe. I mean, and so I told Ed, I said, how much you been drinking? Oh, you told me I get 1 drink a day or 1 drink every 2-3 days, whatever it was. How big are drinks? You take, just a shot, like you said. Fucker was filling a Dixie cup up with fucking bourbon. That was his shot. I'm like, that ain't a fucking shot. That's a damn full-grown glass of, without the ice.
So you never drank or you quit drinking?
Yeah, I never have.
Never have?
Never have.
Never even tried it?
Nope.
Good for you, though.
I've never tried marijuana, so other than a gummy to sleep. So I've never smoked nothing. So good for you.
Never drank, never smoked.
Just never had? Like your dad scared you away from it or what?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat family history. My dad's dad died of liver failure. He drank a lot. I never even got to meet him. So just kind of staying away from it for the family history.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
I respect that a bunch. So you've never drank, you never dipped, you never had a bad experience. See, I dipped when I was in 3rd grade and I threw up. Best thing I ever did.
Nope, never. I mean, I never felt the desire to need to try it. I mean, you hear all these guys every day like, oh, I feel like shit when I get up in the morning. Like, well, I don't want to feel like shit tomorrow morning, so I guess I'll keep a clean head tonight and I feel great the next morning, and life is good. I've really cut down on, like, I didn't ever have a drinking problem, but I definitely, edit a podcast and pour a glass of bourbon. And you're not neglecting anything or hurting yourself or anything. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. No, but then it's just like 1 glass turns to 2, and then, then that kind of escalates. And then you wake up, like you said, you wake up the next day and you don't feel bad, but you just don't feel fuzzy. 100%. Yeah. Right. So it's just, I've just kind of cut it out. But I don't know. I mean, but like I said, I don't have a problem with it or anything. Like, I'll still, if we have people over, I'll have a drink and I'm fine. But, how was your sangria the other day? It was good. Was it? Oh yeah, I made it. That's
It's my summertime drink. A nice sangria.
Oh, I tried to call you out on it. Jesse said you'd made sangria that day, and I just was curious.
Yeah.
I used to not like sangria at all. I don't like wine at all, but I had a sangria somewhere we were at, and it was pretty tasty. Yeah. I can't remember where we were at. And then was it Blake's wedding they have sangria?
No, Zach's. And then I also noticed that I'm way more like on edge with my kids when I'm drinking. Like just little shit that shouldn't be a big deal, I blow up at. So I saw that, and I'm like, I just don't really need to. I don't need to do this.
Good for you.
Just for the kids.
I'm one of them guys. You could offer me for $1 million. You can never have another alcoholic drink in your life. Write me a check. Yeah. That's not a problem at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I got a pretty good bourbon selection at my house. I could keep that there and just never touch it again. Like some people, you'd have to like empty out your entire house,
lock it up.
I could walk past that shit every single day and just enjoy my $1 million.
I had a guy show up here one time and he had a box, like cardboard box, had like 5 bottles of booze in it. Like, what's this? I'm not drinking no more. It's okay. I want you to have this. I don't even drink that much. Yeah, but you have people come over and stuff. Figure you drink it. Okay. And I thought, that's when you really got a problem quitting drinking, when you got to give your shit away.
Right.
So then I thought about 3 days later, I thought, bet that some bitch is going to the liquor store now. I'm wishing, damn, wish I had give that shit away. Just one little hooch.
But even just think about like with what we all do with guiding and outfitting and like the world of that, like it's a pretty prevalent thing. I mean,
yes,
especially smoking in today's day and age, smoking weed. Like there's guys that it's like almost like their alarm or like a pacifier. It's like when the alarm goes off in the morning, they're already ripping a weed pen or whatever. And it's like you're altering your mind from the get-go, and your experience with clients, like you're not as personable. You're not, like you said, you're not sharp or with it.
Yeah.
It just completely changes your personality. And I don't like being, I don't want to be that way.
I don't understand the weed society openness on accepting some things, and I'll explain that to you. If a guy worked for me, got up in the morning, and he shot a shot of whiskey, you ain't working for me doing that shit.
Right.
Now, I'm sure I've had someone do the weed pen. I don't know about it, but that shit ain't gonna fly with me either. I don't understand why. Me and Michelle were in Massachusetts on the Cape a couple years ago. And we went to a store, and it's legal there now. Well, just because it's legal don't need you to do the shit at your
all
work at 8
time.
o'clock in the fucking morning.
Right.
And we bought something early in the morning and we was going to have it shipped. This kid come out and his fucking eyes were just like dimes. Boy, he was all, and he reeked, smelled like a skunk. And I told Michelle, I said, how can the people that own this business think that's acceptable? If he come out here slurring, smelling like booze, they would want to fire him. It's the same thing.
And everybody reacts to it differently, right? Like there's some people that can function pretty well high, but
I don't want
there's
someone,
other people that not well at all.
Yeah, but I don't want a guy guide my hunt
Period.
that's under any kind of substance at all. Anything, beer, whiskey, anything. And I have a real issue with that. But it's so acceptable. Oh, it's weed. It's different than drinking. No, it's the same shit. You're inebriated.
Right.
You know, I think the overall long-term effects on it, weed's not as bad for you as alcohol. And I never, 10 years ago, I'd have said, I'd never say that. But I do believe that. And it's from someone that doesn't use the shit. But I don't think that it should be acceptable to be doing on your average when you're working
society,
and shit.
right.
You want some guy working on your, imagine you're a heart surgeon hitting a weed pen before he operates on you. Fuck that shit. You know? What do you think, Andy? You're more open-minded than I am about stuff.
Yeah, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's just I take it too far in I want to be professional when I'm out there, and I can sometimes take it too far. I had somebody he didn't tell me, but he told a guide that hunting with me was like hunting with your high school principal.
Right, like loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, right. So it's like I do know that I can take it too far in how professional I am.
I don't think you can turn that complimentary.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's just. But like,
Did you tell him to go to the office?
no,
I've hunted with you, and with the people that you know really well, you're a lot more fluid and loose.
Yeah.
And when you're with a group that you're really not, you are kind of a stickler for stuff, but you do it by the rules, and that's just the way you are.
yeah. So that's just my personality. Is I try to be professional, and I guess I can take it too far, and that me being professional turns into me not being personable. Right.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've just always just kind of been a stick in the mud, I guess, when it comes to that. So
the hard thing is though, when you do, I mean, like you said, it's nice to have the repeat guys that you know how they operate. You know, you don't have to babysit too much with safety stuff.
Yeah.
But when you get new guys in, it's like you don't want to hold something against them that you've seen from other groups. But at the end of the day, you also can't discredit that any of those accidents could happen or carelessness.
Yeah.
So until you see how people operate a little bit,
right.
I don't think it's a bad idea to be extra careful or a stickler or whatever. Like
I need a second guy that can like be the fun one. That's why me and Blake work so good. Me and Snacks work really good because they can kind of be that comedian out there, and then I can handle everything. Not that they're not professional or anything like that, but they can kind of do whatever needs to be done with the clients, and then I can handle stuff on the back end, and we've got all the bases covered.
So you and Connor, you and Happy are not good together?
Connor's loosened up a lot. Happy's loosened up a lot.
He's a lot like you, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, though.
Being like you?
Yeah. Because like I said, I take it too far, and then it's just like, well,
how old are you?
We had a good hunt, but man, he just was kind of over on his own thing doing.
How old are you?
37.
That's got a lot to do with it.
What?
You're older and mature. You see things different now. When you get older, you do things. I mean, you don't. They're like, that's a grumpy old man. No, he's sick of bullshit. He's seen it all, and he knows what the results are going to be because he's been down the road before. I get that arguing with your boys sometimes about shit. When you tell them, no, don't do something. I ain't doing it to be an asshole. I'm doing it because I've been down that road before.
Saw that.
I've seen it happen many times. I did it when I was a kid. Then I got to relive it when your dad did the same shit, and now you want to follow the same thing. Reese, Andy's oldest boy, super good kid's got as good a heart in the world, but he's hard-headed. Am I being very fair about shit? And he tends to make messes. Is that very fair? Because he don't listen to nobody. You can tell him it's going to happen, and
he's got to find out for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just he's a great kid, but he just don't. But Michelle gets on to me the other day. I got on to him about something. She goes, "You just sound like a grouchy old man." And I can't remember what it was. It was doing something. I said, well, if it happens, it happens. No, it's stupid. We don't need that to happen. I'm trying to think of what the hell it had something to do in the swimming pool, but it was something simple. But I just said, don't do that. You're going to cause a mess.
And then, like, I've been doing it for so long that I've built this routine into everything that I do. So it's just basically like it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And then, you get new guys every second or third day, and like you're just trying to get them to fall into your routine. I don't know. It just sucks. Like by 3-day groups, by that second day, third day, you don't have to tell them anything. Like it's just they roll out the blinds, they get the blinds set up, and then they help if we need decoys set up or whatever. And then you got to restart everything and start training people all over again.
Most of your clients are regular guys, though, because you have the same customers over and over.
So I guess I didn't do it too bad.
No, you get requested all the time. I've never had nobody say, "Can we not hunt with Andy? He's an asshole." Hey, and your favorite time of the year's coming up.
What?
We got boxes of fireworks for the boys.
Oh, yeah.
Andy hates fireworks, don't you?
I do.
Because Mr. Principal.
Hate them. I didn't like doing them when I was a kid. I don't like watching my kids do them. They're dangerous.
Your kids love them.
Oh, I fucking hate them.
It's funny too because
4th of July, I want to drink. I want to sit.
Not drinking. Now he's talking about drinking.
No, I was a Freudian slip. I want to sit down. I want to talk to my friends. I want to relax. I'm on edge the entire time.
That's what I do the whole 4th.
I hate it.
I sit and relax and enjoy.
I know. You do. It's because my kids are too little. They can't do the fireworks yet without us watching. It's by the time I finally get to relax, the party's over. It's time to go home. And we put the kids in bed.
We shoot mags. We get fireworks from mags.
I smell like shit. I smell like the fucking burnt powder for 4 days. I hate the 4th of July.
We shoot fireworks for 2 hours. I mean, we have a big deal at our house, but they just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And I sit in over a chair and I watch. And I get a little nervous when the boys remember. My dad was the worst for fireworks because he was a retired fireman, and he always sees the bad things.
Careful.
Oh, something's always bad going to happen. We're going to start a fire, do this. Well, I sit and relax, and Andy has to watch over it. But Andy's youngest one, he'll get right in the middle of shit because he's fearless. So Andy's got to watch him all the time. And
it's a stupid holiday. The way we celebrate is just moronic. I don't know how many people go to the hospital on
A lot of
4th
people
of July.
die.
It's just stupid.
I think it's amazing to take, that perspective. Like, you think about what other countries look at, the videos they see on social media, these knuckleheads shooting fireworks into other cars or out of cars or...
Yeah, but y'all missed out on that part of life. I got to enjoy that shit when we used to actually shoot fireworks at each other, and nobody thought nothing of it. Like if you pulled up in the middle of the street and kids are shooting bottle rockets, everybody, you watched. Oh, damn, hit him in the ass.
We had a thing like that in camp this year where, if you closed the door, it could happen to anybody. Any given moment, there might be one getting thrown in the guidehouse, shot underneath the bathroom door while you're in the shower. You name it.
See, that's the generation I grew up at. It was all that shit going on. Well, now we're overprotective. But we went through a time that, like, my mom and dad grew up, and they had these things called cherry bombs. They were equivalent to like a quarter of a stick of dynamite.
Right.
And these kids are throwing them and shit. Well, you see a guy with no fingers and stuff. He was either in the oil field or he was playing with cherry bombs.
Yep.
Well, then we got to my deal where we didn't have those, but we had bottle rockets because we shoot bottle rockets each other all day long, and we used to do bottle rocket wars all the time. Now we got those big time artillery shells because basically the shit we're shooting in my house is better fireworks than we had when I was a kid that you could go to a community celebration for, and everybody's got them. I watched some redneck neighbors of mine a couple of years ago shooting artillery shells at each other about 1 a.m, chasing them. I sat on my porch and laughed my ass off. It was greatness.
I saw a video of some guys shooting bottle rockets like it was like a guy was at bat, like playing baseball, and he was trying to hit him. So the guy was trying to zing strikes in with the bottle rocket.
Yes.
The guy's swinging, trying to hit him.
With Roman candles yesterday. And a couple of them caught the guy right in the chest.
Yeah.
Poof, oh! There's nothing more fun than watching rednecks with fireworks.
Right.
But somebody's going to get hurt. And unfortunately, someone gets killed every year just in some freak accident because of them. But man, it's fireworks. I saw a video yesterday where a guy for Halloween played Terry. That's the black guy. Did you see that video?
No.
Bag up.
Yep. They had fireworks on the ground, and he
put it in reverse.
They had him like in a wheelchair, and I thought, God, they're really touching. They're on pissing people off.
Right.
But somebody's like, "What is that?" Oh,
Terry. Lord.
Terry. Was he a black guy already, or did he?
No, it was a white guy. They didn't blackface him.
They didn't blackface him.
They didn't go that far.
Yeah, that would be a little too far.
Why is that?
I don't know, Jeff. I just know you can't do it.
Why?
What
do you think, Connor? I don't understand that because we got to get in a place in America where we're not so damn sensitive about shit. Because I did blackface at a bar when I was in college. I went as Wanda off of A Living Color one year.
And I can see that side where if a black person made a joke and painted themselves white, I could say it's funny, but
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but
Dave Chappelle did it in his whole show. He had I think it was I think he was a blind guy, white racist. It was fucking hilarious.
And it's hard to see just culturally, that's a hard word.
Yeah.
But you see that passed on to kids aren't racist because they don't know.
Right.
They don't know the difference in color or what it is or the history or whatever beef there is. But then you see parents start passing these narratives on to kids, and then it's just like the cycle continues. And
people are so damn sensitive about shit.
Right.
The world was so much easier when people could laugh at themselves. I mean, Dave Chappelle makes fun of black people more than anybody.
Have you seen
he's
that
fucking
bit?
hilarious.
He's a blind white guy racist that doesn't know that he's white.
No,
he's black. He is black,
but he thinks he's white.
He's leading the KKK meeting or whatever.
It's fucking great.
He's black and he doesn't know he's black is what it is.
Or have you ever seen it when he uses the family and uses the N word that I can't say?
Yeah,
with the hard R family.
Yeah.
And he plays the mailman or the milkman comes in.
Have you not seen it, Connor?
I don't think I've seen that one. I saw the one that you
This is the
reference first.
No, this one is the greatest. It's pure comedy. It's hilarious. But people should be able to laugh at that.
Right.
Now, black people, when they hear him say it, they think it's funny.
Fine.
But if my fat ass did it, I did stand up one time, and I used the N word in a bar because I was talking about how they think it's such a bad word, but it's a common word. And thank God there was a fat black lady on the front row, started making fun of her, and everybody loved it. But
why, it's Clifton, our colored milk fan. And it's my favorite family to deliver milk to. The niggas. Something sure smells good. You niggas cooking?
We sure are. There's some leftover bacon if you'd like some.
Ooh, not for me. I know better than to get between a nigga and their paw. I get my fingers bit. niggas are when it comes to paying bills.
Well, listen, it slipped my mind. Here you go. Sorry about that.
Oh, nigga, please. Well, take care, Mr. N-Word. Have a hot day with the
Mr.
wife
N-Word.
tonight.
All right, take care.
All right, peace, nigga.
I mean, just it's harmless fun.
Yes, and everybody laughs at that. White people, black people, everybody.
Apparently not the person in the comments that said who's laughing.
Oh, that was somebody in the background.
Yeah,
laughing
there's always people that are going to be triggered.
And
Always.
The worst person in our society right now is a white liberal woman. She's victimized on everything and thinks everybody's a victim. But she's a white person. It's like a white person marching to Black Lives Matter deal, griping about white people. Well, you're white. You know, I don't get that. You know, loosen up, lighten up about shit. There are some definite problems with racism still in the world, and it's going to be here till the day the earth ends. But that's people. But I think racism and stereotyping is two different things. But everything bad always turns into racism, and I get sick of the race card. That's why I like seeing Dave Chappelle. That's the same shit that would have been on a long time ago,
right?
In the mid '70s, and nobody thought nothing of it. I mean, hell, you look at Sanford and Son, the way he talks and stuff. He makes fun of black people, white people, makes fun of a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot Mexicans. He makes fun of everybody. Gay people. You know what? Nobody was hurt by anything he said. We need that. We need that in the world. We need a sense of humor and shit. And Outfitters is one of the few places that you can still be that way. Right. Fire departments, police departments, and Outfitters is it.
Maybe construction.
Depending
on the job site.
And the military is still that way a lot of times. You don't think that because you hear about things, but there's still a lot of just good old boys have a good time, mess with everybody. But what fun is it to work for someone if you can't jack with somebody?
Right.
Snacks came to work for us last year, and I nicknamed him Snacks. Well, I got a speech given to me by my wife and Tony. Tony's like, I don't think you can call him Snacks. I think he's going to bother him.
That's because some people were taking it too far. We had a kid out here that was kind of...
He was an asshole.
He was here early, so he felt like he had a little bit of more seniority than he actually had, and he was using the Snacks...
More derogatory.
Instead of it just being in good fun, it was to hurt the kid. And I mean, that's just.
I mean, it's his nickname. That's what we just call him. Hey, Snacks. Don't think it's nothing meant. So, anyways, Michelle says something to me, and so does Tony.
That's why you got the speech, is because there was one kid here that was taking it too far.
So I called him in the office. I said, "Listen, if I've offended you by calling you Snacks," he goes, "Huh?" I said, "I don't offend you." He said, "That don't offend me." So I just want to make sure. He said, "No, I think it's kind of funny." He said, "It doesn't bother me at all." And okay, Snacks. He's been Snacks. Everybody calls him Snacks
ever since.
Yeah,
and all that kind of adds to the story, right? Like when you have guys that come in for years and years, and you build relationships with these people. I mean, they become like family. And like you said, you're just jacking around. So I mean, that keeps things light and interesting. And when you're able to have light humor like that in the blind, it makes it more enjoyable, not only for you guys but for the customers as well. And
because the customer feels like he's getting in on an inside joke.
Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of breaking barriers a little bit with them by letting them in just a little bit.
If you work here and you don't get a nickname, that's not bad. But if you get here and you get a nickname, it's kind of like a badge of honor of some sort. Because there's a lot of people have nicknames that work here and have had nicknames for years. I mean, I do that because I meet so many people. And for some reason, I can't remember the name Jose, but I can remember the name Snacks. Fuck, he wasn't just Jose. It was Jose, Eduardo, Gonzalez. Every Mexican name in the world, we named him at one time or another. I mean, but he became Snacks. Happy is happy. He's O'Toole, so he's an Irish boy, and I just nicknamed him Happy. He had a nickname before he ever even got here. He walked in the door, hey, there's Happy. Well, we all call him Happy now. That's his nickname. And that's just part of being here is you're going to get a nickname, and it's nothing bad. But I grew up where I got jacked with. I worked at a furniture store, and I was a young guy there, and them guys fucked with me the whole time. Well, I'll screw with everybody else.
It builds character.
It does. It's just part of life. If you go through life and it's that serious, it'll do you no good.
Yeah. How was your turkey season this spring?
Yeah, turkey season was awesome. We're super fortunate now to where, I mean, obviously, like I started out years ago doing all the things, guiding, filming, hospitality, cleaning, cooking, you name it, like one-stop shop. And now as things have shifted and, you know, the group of 2 turns into a group of 10 or whatever, that, you know, creates more demand for extra hands on deck. So we've been able to really find an awesome crew of guys that know the drill. Like, I don't have to babysit at all, and they do a great job not only in the field but with the customers. And it's a good thing when you have, you know, not only repeat guys, but when somebody comes to camp, you know, you never know what, like we talked about, what their expectation is. When they leave camp, they're like, you know, the turkey hunting was great, but the guys here in camp were just phenomenal. You know, when they can come to you and say that, you know, you've got something really, really good going. And so being able to know that and trust that they're going to do just a stand-up job, whether I'm in the room with them or they're 50 miles from camp on somebody else's property off in the woods doing whatever, you know, that they're safe, they're going to know their stuff in the woods, and they're great with the people, checks all the boxes. It's really awesome. So having that environment for the springtime is one of my favorite parts of the year for sure.
Turkey season's a weird hunt to guide because here, I don't know how many birds you're selling, but we sell like a 1-bird hunt. Well, if they come right in off the limb,
yeah, what do you do?
And you shoot your bird, well, it's kind of done in 15 minutes. So it's like you want that, but like there's been plenty of times where it's a 3-day. We do a 3-day hunt is what it is. There've been plenty of times that last morning of the 3rd day, hadn't seen them, hadn't heard them. So it's like, I don't know. It's a tricky scale to balance, right? Because you want to ultimately kill the bird, but do you want to do it in 15 minutes? Like you kind of want your clients to have experience a little bit of that cat and mouse game, but you want it to pay off in the end. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that it's tough. You get a hot bird and he comes right in and does what he's supposed to do, and bang, hits the ground. It's like, all right,
sorry, we're good at this.
So, yeah. Enjoy your ride home.
That's right. And so to that too, it's like we've tried to really put an emphasis on creating a well-rounded experience outside of the hunt, so that it's not something that you just get back to camp, clean your bird, and leave. You know, there's great food, great environment, some activities to do, you know, whether you want to go fishing or shed hunting or whatever. There's all sorts of stuff. But more times than not, guys get back to camp and they're like, I gotta get home for this, or I gotta. It's like,
right,
you guys are living fast. So, and I get it. People want to go back and be with family or keep the needle moving ahead. But it's like sometimes it doesn't hurt to stop and smell the flowers.
Yeah, you see that a lot, like in our line of work. You know, this is their vacation. Right. Like this is the only time that they're going to get out and get the shotgun out of the case is when they're with us.
Sure.
So you want it to meet their expectations, but I'm telling you, man, there's been a lot of turkey hunts where it's like, oh God, please just let us hear one. just let him gobble one time.
There's just so many factors that go into it with the weather and pressure and crops, and I mean the list goes on and on and on. That I mean you can't control any of that stuff, and so I mean you can scout till your heart is content and have cell cameras out and do all the driving around and think you're gonna be in the chips, and they may very well be there.
Yeah.
But if they don't want to participate,
or God forbid they get intercepted by a hen.
One of the craziest ones I had this year, I really don't guide turkey hunts nearly as much as I used to. Like 2 years ago, I did 3. This year, I think I did 5 or 6. And like historically, 3 years back, I did 27. Year before, I did 57. So like that's just myself on top of what else is going on. But to kind of show, I don't guide that many turkey hunts. But I had a group show up the one morning where it was like, all right, you're out of retirement, back in the field you go. And scouted them the day before just as I would have any of these other prior years, and put them to bed and had a game plan. I'm like, all right, as long as they show up, we're good to go. I'm out here sitting, and here they come. Here comes the hens. Here comes the jakes. Here comes the gobblers. I'm like, all right, perfect. It's only a matter of time. Like they're at about 100, 150 yards, just filtering their way through. And all of a sudden, I see the hens put their heads up. They didn't putt, but they turn around and start walking kind of back the way they came. I'm like, that's really weird. Like they definitely didn't see us. Like what's going on? Well, a coyote came and chased all the birds out of the field. Put. They're flying. Turkeys everywhere. Had a hen fly and land in the tree right above us. Turkeys flying across the field. I mean, it's just like a firework scattered every direction. I'm like, clients of course are like, look over their shoulder like, well, what are we gonna do now? I'm like, let me think for just a few minutes. And as luck would have it, I was like, we're here. Yeah. Sounds crazy, but you know, the flock busted up. Maybe they'll come back in the field. We'll see what happens. Sit there for 20 minutes. Sure as shit, here comes a Tom to the decoy and everything. Did the whole thing. Great footage. Awesome. Shoot him right at the decoy. They're like, all right, now what are we going to do? I'm like, well, there's two of us.
Right.
There was multiple Toms out here yesterday. I planned on hopefully shooting a double this morning. It might sound crazy, but with as far away as we are from other properties that, you know, would have a shot at getting you something for this morning, I think we're going to probably be good off at least to sit here another 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if it wasn't 15 minutes later, another Tom stepped out and we were done just like that. But it's like, that was like all the emotions ever at turkey hunting where they're gobbling on the limb and everything's like textbook. And then you're like, huh, now what?
That was smart though, because like when they bust up like that, they're going to reconfigure.
Right.
Right. And if you can just be there and kind of make it seem like you're the boss hen, come here.
And I won't lie. I mean, the amount of times that you have coyotes or bobcats or predators of some sort, eagles. I've had an eagle hit a decoy even where it's like, chances are like that there was a gobbler like 100 yards away when the eagle hit the decoy and he just went like into statue mode. I'm like, that's kind of weird. What's going on? And then wham,
hit it.
Yeah, but it's like normally things don't go your favor after that. You're like, well, that's a wash. We better try something else. But to have it work out, I was like, you know what? I had karma on my side that day.
This year we had a bunch of hens and they came out with all these birds and I was like, there's no way. Like they're going to, a lot of times the hens will kind of see your setup and like you said, they'll take them the other way. But for whatever reason, I struck a nerve with a hen and she just led them all to their demise. But normally it doesn't work out that way. Right. But I don't know what note I made on the call or whatever, but like I could tell in her demeanor, like she looked up and she was like, this bitch. And she just kind of looked at us for just a second and then she kind of put her head down like a gobbler would and just trucked it right to us. And then, of course, then, you know, the gobbler, oh, where you going, baby? Followed her and shot out right there. But as soon as I saw the hens, I was like, yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Game over.
It's done. Like she's not going to bring them anywhere near. And then a couple, that was actually my last client for the year. And I went back on that property a couple weeks later, just by myself, just fun hunting. And it did not work out that way. Saw the hens with the gobblers and I was like, oh, I'll get this bitch again. No.
So why do you think that is? I got a few ideas, but why do you think the hens are going to be that way?
I just think they're a little bit protective. I think that's probably when they're getting ready to get bred and they don't want outside influences with her man until she's done with them and then you can go off and do whatever. That's what I think. I
think that's always like a super, super good factor. But the other thing too is the hens don't get killed every year.
Right.
So I think that they see the song and dance.
Oh, right. More than the toms.
You think you kill every 2-year-old every year or whatever, and it's like, well,
right. How many times does she get in something shot out from underneath
4
her?
or 5 times, or, you know, whatever. It's like, I don't know. That makes a lot of sense, but maybe.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I just kind of figured that she didn't want him hopping on another bird.
Right.
Right. That's just kind of what I thought. But no, that makes a lot of sense. She's seen it before. Whereas this big dummy, you know, he'll go to whoever's talking nice to him.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Those are my favorite. I love them. I love them. Turkey hunting, I hated it in the beginning. I started when I was like 19, and I despised it. It was too much like deer hunting for me. I hate deer hunting. I hate sitting in a stand. I hate being quiet. I hate not being able to move. Because I'd always waterfowl hunted. So I always just kind of hanging out. Oh, there's a flock mile. And, you know, like out here, you can see forever.
Right.
So very rarely are you getting surprised. So, there's a flock of birds. Let's get down the blind and do what we got to do. Turkey hunting, I hated it. I was terrible at it. It was bad. And then I called in my first bird and he did it right. And ever since then, like I would
flip the switch.
I would put turkey hunting like even above waterfowl hunting for me.
I'm with you.
It's just so much more. It's a lot. It's chess is what it is. Waterfowl hunting's checkers. You know, you see them off in a distance, you call. Turkey hunting for me, it's just like this big chess game. And like you said, like there's so many variables that you can't control. Like a coyote popping his head out can just ruin everything.
Anytime.
Yeah. 50 yards. Okay. He's coming. He's hot. He's got, you know, the red head. He's out fanning, and then all of a sudden it turns white. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? Oh, a deer stepped out and a deer blew.
Yep.
ended it. So I love it. And now my kids like it too. My oldest killed a turkey, and now he's all about it.
And that's the good thing about turkey hunting. You can go for 30 minutes or an hour, or you can go all day or whatever. And I mean, Southern turkey hunting culture, I mean, better pack a lunch because you're probably going to be walking for tens of miles. But, you know, with kids like that, you can make it light and airy and enjoyable. And
like the birds are out there all day. So if you didn't get up at the ass crack of dawn, you can go out there. And I personally, I like the mid-morning hunts almost probably more than I do right at first light, because a lot of times they do get henned up and they're not even playing the game until 10:30.
Yep.
So I like kind of that
go get breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get out there. We'll slip out. It'll be fine. Just do a little bit of listening. But, you know, you're not going to hear the goblin like you do when they're on the limb.
But when you find one
when you finally find one, like it's game on. And you're for sure going after that bird because he's lonely. So, but I've seen your videos of turkey hunting. It seems like y'all just have turkeys out the ass up there.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things kind of contribute to that. Like, we do cover a very, very broad range so that we don't decimate the flock essentially right around where we're at, right? Like, you don't want to kill too many out of a single area, let alone, you know, the area that we hunt in general. So, I mean, we do some driving to make sure that we're not killing too much with the quantity that we're after. And you factor in there's some locals that hunt too, and so try and leave a few birds on their properties around where they're hunting or whatever, and then manage predators accordingly. But I mean, as far as their habitat goes, I mean, it's a turkey heaven for sure. It's set up right. But yeah, I mean, add in the film aspect to it to be able to have that memory for the clients. And, I mean, who doesn't like watching turkeys get whacked?
Hit the dirt. Now you waterfowl hunt in Oklahoma. Have the turkeys started to rebound there, or are they still, is the population still way down? Because a couple of our last years there, massive turkey flocks, and then that was when we first got there, and then towards the end of our time in Oklahoma, the birds were not there like they were.
Gone.
Yeah.
I think they knocked the limit back to 1, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. I don't turkey hunt down there, but I mean, from driving around scouting, like, you definitely see them,
right?
But they're more concentrated, and maybe that's just the time of the year, right? Like fall, winter time, where they're going to be in winter flocks and grouped up like that. But I mean, you'll see 20 to 50 in a flock.
Okay.
But you're not going to see another flock for another, 15 to 30 miles or whatever. So it's like they're not on every single street.
It was every brook, every creek, every set of trees. One time Jeff was certain it was a flock of graders. Like, he slams on the brakes, and we got a field of jumbos. Put the glass up, and it's all turkeys.
I had another time I watched. I was in Oklahoma, and I saw a flock of geese flying. There's like 2 or 3 lines, and they break down. They start cupping up, going to land in a field. And I thought, well, there's our feed. You know, scouting. You know what it's like. Sometimes your eyes from way off are better than what you're going to see by just driving around.
Sure.
And so, sure enough, I'm watching these geese fly lines. So I start following, see where they're going. They start locking up.
Check up.
Like, hell yeah, that's my field right there. They must be over that hill there. Well, they come in, the other behind them set up too. And they get right to them, and then they get up off the ground. I thought, fuck, somebody hunting on my shit. Then I'm thinking somebody's hunting on me, and it's some decoys.
Yep.
I get them look, and it was turkeys. And the turkeys were feeding, and they were walking towards the woods. Those geese saw those birds, and they were set up for them turkeys, and they got there, and it was turkeys, and they kept going.
That's funny.
But they locked up for a long time. I'd never seen it. But I've twice. One time was at the Red River, off the Red River in Oklahoma, at a field, and I saw probably 500 turkeys in a flock. It was a big flock. As big a flock of turkeys I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
And I thought they were geese also. So I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, but when do you see 500 turkeys together?
You don't very often,
right?
Up where we used to hunt in Oklahoma, we didn't see 500, but there would be 200 or 300.
Sure.
But before that eyeworm hit, there would be 200 to 300, and then after that, there was 5 or 6. It's just crazy how that wiped all that out.
Right.
You know, and I think a lot of it's a man-made problem. Everybody blames it on predators, and I'm sure predators have got a lot to do with it, but I think it's got to be man-made.
Well, you look at, like, one thing that they all eat is those treated seeds.
That's right.
And they say that causes a lot of sterility issues. I mean, it can't be good for you in any sense, but I can imagine it messing up reproductive things for sure.
Can you imagine that we've got something we can spray on cotton to kill it all, defoliate it, and all the other thousands of things that we have to, and then we're going to breathe it and it don't affect us? I mean, it's got to be bad for us. But also, we can't live in a world where we have nothing. I mean, you have to have
something to keep it in check.
You have to, and it's a fine line between what's good for us and what's bad for us. But nobody wants dirty drinking water.
Sure,
nobody wants. I guess in the mid 70s, one of the Great Lakes you could burn on fire. There was so much diesel and stuff on the water that they burned the top of it. There has to be a give and take and check and balance on everything, but you also have to be able to live and survive.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing to see how other countries or continents work with that, even like Europe versus here, with the amount of things that are sprayed on crops. And I mean, just glyphosate, even, where it's like you said, you got to have something to keep stuff in check. But if it's causing all these permanent things, but follow the money trail, and it's all coming back to healthcare and pharmaceutical
like
stuff.
RFK said, like kids today have a lower testosterone. 20-year-olds today have a lower testosterone rate than their grandparents
I would
do.
say than a 50-year-old or 70-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, something has happened, right? I mean, maybe it's a sedentary lifestyle. I think it's all the shit that we spray on all of our food, and we don't think about it.
Right.
Now we've got
seed oils and
all these companies that are finally getting the artificial dyes out.
Why is it taking so long, though? It's going to be like 2027 for Hostess or somebody to remove all this stuff. Do it tomorrow.
Smucker's, the jelly company, they're taking it out by January 1.
What do they have in jelly that's...
I'm sure red dye 40 and just all this other shit that...
Why can't they make their jelly like Grandma does?
Because it probably doesn't
store as long.
Yeah, it doesn't stay as good as long.
Another thing too is like it just doesn't look appealing.
Right.
Like that's their importance of the visibility on a shelf is people's. They do enough studies to see what people grab and whatever. I mean, your branding and visibility is huge.
Lucas sent me some jelly from the Kennesaw Peninsula.
Yep.
Some strawberry jam.
Pretty killer.
Or is it raspberry? Strawberry, raspberry. I can't remember. It's the best. I think it's
Got
raspberry.
them both. Yeah.
It's the best jam I've ever had in my life. Matter of fact, I think I'm about out. And Lucas, I know you're listening to this. You can send me some more of that if you want to. But whatever it was, it's the best jam I've ever had in my entire life.
I brought you some Michigan goodies too. It's not jam, but
what
it's
is it?
Sweeter than that. Maple syrup.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, appreciate that.
It's made right in our hometown.
But see, we don't have any of that stuff out here.
Right.
So I like that.
Oh, it'll change your life.
But I don't understand why Smuckers and them can't just do...
Right.
I'm sure there has to be a grace period where they can transition everything. I don't think it's a switch that anybody could flip.
No, I agree on that part. But what's in jelly that makes it different than the jam or the jams or jellies that we bought?
That Granny still can store on a shelf for that long. Yeah,
I've got some jelly at my house that I have guys bring it to us a lot of times from different places.
That's true.
And some of them will sit for 2 or 3 4 years.
And they're fine.
I'll try to find it real quick. But I mean, anything that you have, you just flip over the label and it's just a bunch of shit that you can't even pronounce, and that's what they have in it.
I ate some black...
And I might have misspoke. It might not be Smuckers or anything, but...
I think it is Smuckers. I think I did read that also.
But that is true about ingredient labels, even where you've got, 40 to 100 different chemicals or whatever, all the 8s and everything that you can't pronounce. And it's like you look at just ketchup, for instance. It's like ketchup has like 3 or 4 ingredients in Europe or Canada even or whatever. And here, not the case.
No. And did they do that to preserve it, or they do it to get you addicted to it?
Yes.
They got you addicted to it.
But like you go to Upper Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie's got a couple of fudge shops and stuff, and I went into, and they have cups like peanut butter cups, like Reese's cups. They got everything you buy there. Will their stuff not last as long as the one that's in a packaged?
I'm sure not. Just being exposed to open air like that, and they're not gonna.
Yeah, but if you vacuum sealed it, would it be the same though? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
That's where I'm getting at.
Right.
I understand them putting something addictive in there to make you to like it. I saw where
it's the high fructose corn syrup here versus Europe. So you got tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup, and then that's like your addictive properties are those corn syrups. Over there, it's just tomatoes, vinegar, sugar, salt.
Do you think it tastes much different?
Don't know.
Mexican Cokes.
But it might not taste much different, but it might get you hooked more.
Then that part could be, who the hell's addicted to ketchup though? But like Mexican Cokes, I like a Mexican Coke more than a regular Coke. Well, from Michigan, y'all probably don't have Mexican Cokes, do you?
You really got to look hard to find it. Like,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the legit Mexican places will have them.
And they come in a bottle,
Glass
and
bottle.
they say something de Mexico
Yep.
on them. I love them. I had some guys from up north went and ate Mexican food with me one day, and I told them, I'll take a Mexican Coke, and they're like,
Ooh.
"What'd you say?" I said, "Asked her for a Mexican Coke." She's not mad at you. I go, "Why?" It's a Mexican Coke. It's on the receipt. It's going to say Mexican Coke. It's a difference. We have American Coke and Mexican Coke. They didn't know, but it's got sugar in it.
Real sugar.
Yep, real sugar, and it tastes a lot better.
Yep.
I like it better than the corn syrup. So are the corn prices going to go down now that they're going to quit using corn syrup for everything, and sugar prices is going to go up?
I don't know.
'Cause that's a lot of corn syrup. You start talking about all these companies taking corn syrup out of their products.
I don't know. I don't know what all they're taking out. I think it's more the dyes rather than the corn syrup.
Is more corn being sold for syrup than it is for eating or for cattle food? That's, I mean, you're talking about
big questions, yeah.
But that's a lot of corn syrup. If you think about every Coca-Cola's got corn syrup in it.
It's in everything.
Every freaking thing's got corn syrup in it.
Would that would make the price drop?
If corn syrup, if nobody's
of,
using corn syrup, the demand for corn would be way down.
I'm trying to think of the supply and demand ratio.
And sugar prices would go up because there'd be a whole lot more demand for sugar.
I mean, it's valid. But I don't know. Maybe they'll switch. I don't know what they're going to do. I can't even lie to you here.
But there's damn sure too many preservatives in food that we have. I saw where toasted, one of the cereals that you guys used to eat. Mom read me a list of them just yesterday, the stuff that's fixing to be pulled off the shelves that they're having to redo. And one of them was either Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal or honeycombs. I think it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
But like all these companies are selling in Europe and other places in the world where a lot of this shit's illegal. Like Mountain Dew, famous example. They got all this shit in it here. One of the European countries was going to ban Mountain Dew, so they just fixed it.
Just like that.
Just like that. And
that's my question. Why does it take so long? Because if you're doing it, producing it to Europe, though, well, 2 years, though, one of them was 2027, I saw. I thought, Jesus Christ, 2 years? Especially if you're making Skittles and you're selling Skittles in Sweden and you can't have nothing in them. Well, just make it the same way you make them in Sweden.
They're here.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what all it was that he's done a lot. I think RFK is one of the, he's fucking going to work every single day, it seems like.
I had a little kid at a softball game, Dylan's softball game, one of the little boys up there, they come up and ask me for money for the concession stands. I give him $1 or something. And snow cone. I can't have one of them. It's got red dye 40 in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, my kid's 6 years old. His parents have already distilled it. You cannot instill in him. You're not allowed to have that anything with that color.
Some people are allergic to it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it exactly?
It's a dye.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but it ain't good for you.
Yeah, it's just a dye. Yeah, he's got a lot of the chemicals. He's going after BPA, which I don't know if this has it in it. A lot of the plastic bottles have BPA
to the tune of your testosterone talk, like all the microplastics that are in everything, and like that
goes
too.
to your testes.
Yeah, it'll tank your testosterone levels.
Yeah,
and even in our clothes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were talking about a lot of jiu-jitsu players wear a rash guard, and it's just like polyester or whatever, and they're like, you're sweating, your pores are open, and that shit is like leaching into your system.
Yep.
So you got to be, I don't know.
I never thought about that, leaching into it. Never thought about that way, but that's true.
So that's what they say. Even underwear, like you want to have like organic cotton or canvas or whatever.
Underwear instead of those polyester.
What does Duluth use? Because that's whatever I've got wrapped around my balls. So
yeah, it's cheaper.
That's what I've got. I mean, I've got.
The fucking ain't cheap. It's the most expensive underwear in the world.
But they're making
they
now.
Make them cheap with cheap product.
Oh, I'm not saying they're not making a ton of profit.
Yeah.
But a pair of underwears, a 3-pack from Duluth is $50.
Right.
Good Lord. But yeah, there's a company that makes all cotton rash guards now, which is supposed to be better for you.
So cotton is the answer to the. Except what about all the shit they spray on the cotton? Does that not get into the cotton?
Don't know.
But a lot of places will say organic cotton, and then that's what they charge you for, right? So it's like,
that label,
right?
That organic labeling.
Yep.
Now, organic vegetables and produce do not last as long as the other does, but
your yield's not as high.
I had a guy
you're getting bugs and everything else.
We had a gentleman that hunted with us, and he hunts with us about every 3 or 4 years. He brings a group of people here, and he's in the produce business.
Fruit.
Yeah, big time fruit business. Like has thousands of acres of crops that they plant. And he was telling me they pick their apples when they're green still, and they put them in these silos, and then they gas them with some kind of gas, carbon dioxide. I don't know what it is. It's something very simple.
Either preserve them or make them ripe. Or
it makes them last longer, but they ripen, but it makes them last longer when they do. And I can't remember what it is, but it was a very normal product that they put on, but it was some kind of gas. But they would gas them. Are you looking that up?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I was looking up the amount of radiation that your cell phone lets off. Because Aaron Rodgers, if you look at him, he only wears corded headphones. He doesn't wear the cordless headphones because it can create brain bleeds. But they're saying it's the same thing with like your cell phone. People that have their cell phone stuck to their head, or like you said, in your front pocket or whatever.
Yep.
Lots of weird shit going on. And the amount of radiation that each cell phone puts off, it's just like barely squeaks by in the legal limits. Right. But I think RFK is going after some of that.
Ethylene.
There was one of those companies, I think it's called Bodywell, that makes like a chip or whatever that's supposed to inhibit some of that radiation.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it works or not.
Right.
I got one on my phone. It was just one of those things, like it comes up, you're like, ah.
Yeah, because they say like don't even have the cell phone near your bed when it's charging.
Right.
Like just
put it on airplane mode or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Liver King was good about a lot of shit, but Liver King's taking it too far. Like he's fucking gone crazy. But one of his things was cell phones go in like an EMF proof box or whatever at night, and like everything we got EMF proof. Wi-Fi gets unplugged at night, so
he's worried about a bomb.
Huh?
Is he worried about a bomb?
No, just all the radiation and everything that Wi-Fi emits overnight, that or your cell phone being right next to your bed and you're just laying there
2 feet away from your head,
right next to this thing that's emitting radiation all night long.
So the guy is so worried about this, he's putting when you was thinking EMF, I was thinking about one of those.
Well, if you put it in the box,
what do they call those things that you put your
like a Faraday bag
type of thing. So what I'm getting at is for 16 hours a day, he doesn't mind the radiation poisoning, but for the 8 hours while he sleeps, he doesn't want it around him.
Right.
I guess.
So he's going to cut down a third of the radiation.
Well, a third's better than none.
I'm not saying that it's not. It just seems like if it's that bad for you, I wouldn't be using a damn phone at all.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm just telling you. That's why Aaron Rodgers, if you see him doing interviews, it's always the corded. And everybody made fun of him. Guy's got hundreds of millions of dollars and he can't afford a good set of AirPods. Well, no, he's fucking worried about his brain bleeding.
So what about you and your family?
What about us?
Didn't you just put in brand new countertops in your house?
Mm-hmm.
What were they made out of?
Quartzite? A rock?
What's the other rock then that makes, what's the really expensive ones everybody puts in?
Granite.
And they're supposed to radiate radiation out of them too.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not heard that.
That and power lines.
Oh, I can only imagine. See, that's a weird thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder, and this is a pro scouting tip somebody's going to rob from me, but all our turkeys are right along, like the power lines, the ones that are like that buzzing, like like it's so annoying, like to be around them. But like within a couple miles of that, there's always a bunch of turkeys.
Really?
Kind of like with the way it would be with the river.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is it with that frequency
that they tune in on?
You know why? I don't know.
That is crazy. Yeah, granite countertops do emit low levels of radiation and radon gas, but these levels are genuinely considered not a health hazard.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they're going to tell you. But I mean,
while granite naturally contains radioactive elements like uranium and radium, which decay into radon, the amounts in countertops are generally lower and comparable to or less than normal background radiation levels. Fucking in our countertops. Can't even pull a rock out of the earth without it having radiation.
When I was still mayor, I had a lady call me in town, had a big problem with us. They put some new high lines in town, and it was going to be close to the elementary, and she wanted me to, what I thought about, that causes cancer, brain cancer from them electric lines. Like, I have no idea, but those same power lines are going to go right through town.
Regardless.
They're going to be about all them houses outside of town coming in. You can go to any place in the United States that got the same power lines. What are you going to do? Go live off the grid somewhere? I don't know if it's proven that power lines cause cancer anyways. I mean, it would be a high rate. Wouldn't you think that a lot of guys that work on power lines would be dead?
How do you isolate one thing too with the amount of shit we're exposed to every single day? Like you can do your part. Yeah, you can do your part.
Fucking power lines.
And try, but I mean,
but wouldn't line workers all?
You would think.
Yeah, I mean, every one of them would have a high risk, and it may be doing it. I don't know. but that was really scared to death. I mean, she's really had a real problem with it.
A shocking concern.
Yeah. And I was like, listen, I don't.
We'll just look it up. We'll see if line workers, while there is evidence suggesting a slight elevated risk of certain cancers like leukemia and brain cancers among electrical workers, including line workers, the connection is not definitively established and remains a topic of ongoing research. So they're looking at it. And it acts like there might be. 1988 study found utility workers in East Texas were 13 times more likely to develop brain tumors than other workers.
Oh, there you go. But that would be right there up close to it.
That was an LA Times article in 1990. So they've been looking at this for, they hadn't changed anything since 1990, but they've been looking at it for a while.
My dad died of lung cancer, but he had also had onset of leukemia and all other things. And I asked him about that. I go, do you think that being a fireman would cause you to have lung cancer?
From breathing.
Because there's so many of those guys died of lung cancer. Dad's like, hell no. We all smoked 2-3 packs of cigarettes a day growing up, and
right.
That's true. He said, they'd come out of a fire and they'd light up a cigarette and they'd all smoke cigarettes around the fire. He said, hell, I've lit a cigarette off of wood burning in a house of fire. Used it as a lighter. But that was a common thing. Yeah. So I don't know if that's, I'm sure inhaling all that smoke and shit wasn't good for you.
Didn't help, right?
No, but
it's good. But at the same time, like, you got to live.
That's
the hard part.
That's what we're talking about with the pollution. They're if the United States goes green and we don't have any pollution in the world, but then we're buying all of our shit made in China and stuff, I got bad news for you. It's the same fucking atmosphere. Yeah.
Have you during your time when you were fishing, have you seen like any of the fish that you normally caught? Like, have the population's gone down?
Yeah, so especially in the like Port Canaveral or Cocoa Beach area, it's a super controversial topic right now, actually, now that you point it out, because the cruise traffic and terminals are so busy. It's like that's the busiest port in the country. Last I knew, it was 21,000 people come and go every weekend just on cruises, just in the weekend, and there's other ones that exchange. I mean, like, they got it down to a science, right? Like, when one ship's leaving, there's one staged up coming in next. And just from that, you can imagine how much the water and currents are churning just from boats coming in and out. And so, like, when a cruise ship leaves, it turns pretty much the whole port, like, from blue to chocolate milk, and just completely disturbs that entire ecosystem there. And then because of the waste product and anything that they're getting rid of, it's completely killed, or not completely, but I mean, a lot of all the native seagrasses and stuff, to where like any of the naturally occurring populations of fish are, like, from what I've heard from all the people that have lived there for their entire lives, or lifetimes, generations, whatever the stories go, they're like, we used to do this or we used to do that. And I mean, it is just non-existent at this point, because I mean, there's still fishing to be had, but it's not the ecosystem they had 30 years ago.
There's not a waterfront area in the United States that's not set aside or designated basically as a wildlife resource area or a natural deal that's not got homes and stuff built on it. If you watch a movie like in the early 70s in California, there's open beaches. I mean, there's open spots. It's not homes and homes and homes and homes and homes. Nonstop. Florida, when I was a kid, we went to Destin a couple of summers. It would have probably been mid-70s. And the beach was open. There wasn't businesses everywhere. Right. I hadn't been to Destin in like 20 years. We went from when I was a kid to me and Michelle and the boys rented a house at St. George Island one year, and we went there, and I couldn't believe
the growth,
the way it looked like 20 years from the time before I was there. I was like, good Lord. You could drive along a long way between Biloxi and that whole area. You could stop, and there'd be the ocean there, and there'd be like some camp deals where people would cook out and stuff, and just a whole different world. Now every one of those places, you can't even drive next to it because it's all houses and developments.
And even now, like Cape Canaveral's got 6 or 8 cruise terminals, or 5 or whatever. There's a bunch of them, and they even just tried to buy out like a local marina even to close that section down and put another cruise terminal in. And like, fortunately, there's a bunch of blowback, and I don't think it's
20 years ago. I wonder how many cruise ships were going out of there.
I don't think any, or maybe 1 or 2, but not to the scale it is now.
One of the last places in the U.S. that's not, the Louisiana coast has a lot because it's hard to get down there to Venice area. that's still pretty much the way it was years and years and years ago. South Padre Island, the island has grown up, but you can't expand it much more than what it is. And same with Port Aransas area. You can go to the north end of South Padre or the south end of North Padre, and there's nothing there.
Sure.
And I don't know if there'll be anything ever built there, but there's not very many places like that left in the U.S.
And that's kind of what keeps Cocoa Beach the way that it is, because it's like out on I don't know, what do you call it, an archipelago, or I mean, it's an island basically. And, you can't build one way, you can't go to the ocean, and I don't think you really go up anymore. Right. So it's like, it's stuck the way that it is too, but anywhere else in Florida is at risk of everything being commercialized and everywhere.
Well, it used to get a 10-year cleanse or 20-year cleanse from a hurricane.
Right.
And that really, and I'm not being rude by saying that, but about every 20 years, every area would have a massive hurricane come. So it would completely wipe out everything there.
Rebuild
They'd have to rebuild and start all over again. Yep. And a guy told me that at Padre Island years ago. He goes, what makes this island so cool? He says, about time we really start getting commercialized again. He goes, we'll get a hurricane coming here, wipe the whole thing out. So he said, time they get it rebuilt to where it's commercialized again, we get another one. So he said, we kind of grow, up and down all the time.
Sure.
And I also wonder, like sunscreen, how much is sunscreen affecting fish and other plants? Because they said during COVID, when they shut all the beaches down in Hawaii, the coral reef actually started to rebound because nobody was in the water. Nobody was going in the water with all this fucking sunscreen on them. Right.
Didn't sunscreen also, if you look at skin cancer studies, increase dramatically with sunscreen?
Yeah,
it's just crazy that we've been around the sun for millions of years on a conservative estimate, and now all of a sudden in the last 50 years we see skin cancer shoot through the roof.
I saw this thing this past week that said that seed oils will stay in your skin for 7 years after you stop eating them, and that's why we burn now more than
we did before. Yeah, because I stepped out and said
7 years.
I stepped out and said we're the only thing that sunburns, and Jeff and Maddie were quick to
jump on you.
Quick to jump on me. Pigs will sunburn. So maybe I wasn't factually accurate in that. Maybe that was a TikTok video I shouldn't have regurgitated. But I don't know. It's just weird that skin cancer is so high. And maybe a long time ago that's what everybody died from. And there was just no recorded record and we didn't know what it was, and so and so had some weird spot and then he was dead. Maybe we just don't know. But I feel like I just feel like they would have written down Bob had a weird spot on the middle of his forehead that was bleeding all the time, and then he died to suggest skin cancer. But I know a lot of the companies that make sunscreen get you on the back end because they've got the skin cancer cure, right? So they double dip. They give you what the healing method, and then you get skin cancer, and then they profit off of you
again
whenever you go to fight it. There's just some fuckery going on, I'm afraid of.
It's been that way for years. We got the illness and we got the cure. We're going to give you something to make you sick, and then we're going to give you something to profit off the cure.
So I tuned into that last episode with Maddie about that spoonbill with no bill.
Yeah. You caught one without a bill. You got bad luck.
So I sent him a picture immediately of one of them that I caught with no bill. And the reason being is because the very next fish I caught, 14 minutes later, if you look at the timestamp of the pictures, it's banded.
Oh, wow.
A banded fish.
Banded spoonbill. So, or paddlefish, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I don't know that the luck or bad luck necessarily rings true. I was like, huh.
How many banded ones do they ban very often?
I think they always have like an ongoing study that's going. I don't know the exact number, but it seems like they're always doing more.
Did you, where was it banded? The same area?
I'll be completely honest. I tried to look it up, and I think it's like too old. It didn't come up on the website, so I still don't know.
I wonder how far those fish. What were you fishing at? A lake or a river?
Yeah, Grand Lake.
Okay, that's a big lake, though.
It is a big lake. It's a big lake.
So, but how did it lose the bill?
That one I don't know, because like I said, that one didn't have the band on it or anything. That was a separate fish.
Right.
So it's hard to say if it just didn't grow that way. If, like Maddie said, if he got whacked off by a prop or.
But in that video that you sent, it didn't look like it. Like it looked like it would have
been
healed
that way for a while, right?
Was it swimming on top of the water like Maddie was saying?
No.
Because Maddie made it seem like it couldn't go underwater because it didn't have its bill.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the case or not. And if you listened in the video, I was with Brian Baker from Crane Records and Spoonbill Records, whatever. their big thing with Grand Lake right now is the big head tuna are starting to influx into the lake. So like,
big head tuna,
like
a freshwater tuna.
Carp. Sorry,
Okay.
they call them Grand
Lake tuna.
They call them Grand Lake tuna. That's why. But anyways, is it
a drum or carp?
It's a carp. It's a big, like almost like an Asian. It might even be an Asian type carp. Like they got their eyes like way back and down on their head. They look kind of goofy, but like. And good on him. Like Brian cares a lot about that ecosystem, and so like he's been in there. Like any day he's not doing something else, he's out trying to catch all these Grand Lake tuna and get them out of the lake. Like he's on news channels all over the place, and they're interviewing him, and he's doing studies with scientists and whatever. But that said, you know, with the live scope stuff, I mean, you can see if a fish has a bill on it or not.
Right.
And so, like, we saw this one that didn't have a bill, and he's like, "Oh, that's a Grand Lake tuna. We're gonna go after it." And I mean, we chased that thing it took us a little while to catch him. Like
Grand Lake tuna,
longer than a normal paddlefish for whatever reason. So it seemed like he was pretty freaking agile. And I mean, I know he went to different depths, so.
Dude,
we might have proved two claims that they're not bad luck and that they can actually dive.
What are y'all using for bait? Like a dough?
A big old lead sinker. It's snagging. Yeah.
Oh, you're snagging.
Yep,
Okay, so you're not even trying to catch them with it.
Nope. Because they're like a paddlefish's eyeball is like nothing. Like it's like a speck. So they just pretty much swim through the water with their mouth open and just filter.
What about the carp? I'm talking about the big head carp or the big whatever.
Same thing. He's just snagging them.
So you don't try to catch them on bait either.
I mean, he may set lines out for him, but I mean,
think they use garball. I mean, they use dough.
Sure.
Like biscuit dough or something.
I mean, I tell you what, he's damn good at that snagging technique. I mean, as far as the you know, like you can get the trolling motor pointed the right way, and it'll be like 30 feet that way and 10 feet down, whatever, and you could cast and watch your line go down, and then start yanking away. And I mean,
well, they fight like some bitch when you get them on if you get them on a dorsal fin or something.
It don't matter where you hook them; they fight like a son of a bitch.
The carp or the spoonbill?
Both.
I've never caught a spoonbill. There was some airmen in Wichita as a kid growing up, and nobody wanted to ever catch a carp. I mean, it's just not something nobody wanted to catch. And they were married to Vietnamese ladies or some ladies from over there. I don't know where they're from. But anyways, those people, they eat fish all the time.
You
and
name it.
And they wanted to eat fish nobody else they would want.
Right.
But them ladies would catch fish all day long, and they'd use some kind of dough.
I get people all the time at the dock. I'll clean fish, and you know, from all different ethnicities, they're going, "What are you going to do with that carcass?" I'm like,
you want it? Take it.
And they do.
What do they get off
fish
of
stock?
it?
Yeah, they'll like boil the whole thing down in a soup. They'll do. I mean,
right.
I don't want to know what they do with them.
Those people over there. When I say those people,
what do you mean those people?
Those people would be people from the Orient over there, and I don't know what I'm supposed to call them anymore.
Or even like I'll even get like Jamaican guys that are in the port working, or you know, from the island communities like that. And same thing. They want to make a stew or a stock out of it.
And those people, as Andy was trying to make me sound like a racist, I'm stereotyping. Those people, we take proteins for
granted,
big time here.
Yeah.
I mean, they eat bugs, they eat all kinds of stuff, so they eat the piss out of
whatever they can
fish
get.
or anything like that. So, and them nasty ass fish they have, oh man, little river fish with so anything out of a clear lake or clean lake would be good.
Do you like sushi?
I'm a sushi connoisseur.
Do you do the sashimi or do you do like the cooked?
I'll do it all.
Really?
But yeah, I like the raw stuff for sure.
You do? So, yeah. I mean, just no big deal to you, the texture and everything?
The only thing like I wouldn't seek out, like I don't really like eel and I don't really like salmon. Those are the two things. Like I'll eat them. Like they don't gross me out, but just like the texture of eel, especially, like it's just not for me.
I don't know that I've ever had.
Larry got sick from sushi.
He did.
He was telling me that yesterday. I was thinking somebody was just telling me about sushi yesterday. Yeah,
but he had it at an all-inclusive, all-you-can-eat buffet. So
yeah,
he kind of had it come. But I'll admit, I ate some sushi in Costa Rica, and there I was like,
a little questionable.
If it gets me, just mark this time.
What was it?
This is what it was. Just I don't know, just sushi.
The only thing I ate is California rolls.
I ate. Oh no! I like the fish on top. I like all sorts of sushi.
What's that place we ate at in Orlando? It was a Japanese Chinese restaurant. Those people restaurant.
I don't remember.
We ate one night. It was raining. We went in there and ate. And it was really good food.
Huh?
We had Chinese food or something one night.
Oh, that was fucking.
What was the name of it? Wee Wee's or Mimi's?
Payway. That wasn't. That was just General Shao's.
It was good though.
It was good.
No, they had sushi also there.
See, here's the thing though, like with sushi, it's
hold on. Andy's making fun of my travel experience because I'm not up on all the upper end of the
culture
of the Chinese restaurants or whatever the fuck food. It was good food though.
Hayway's a fancy China star.
It was. That's exactly. But it's good.
Yeah.
But when you say sushi, like, you know, you go to a mid-grade place in the central U.S. Like,
yeah.
I ain't getting oysters there, and I probably ain't gonna eat their sushi either. I'll just get teriyaki beef and be good. But like, you go to the coast or Costa Rica or somewhere that is their culture.
If you can
is to
see
eat
the ocean,
fresh food like that.
Right.
If you can see the ocean,
Generally.
a buddy of mine told me, he said, you don't ever eat oysters when you can't see the ocean.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
Stay away.
I just got oysters when I was in Lafayette. They were some of the worst oysters I've had in a
Really?
minute.
Oh, but you're gonna piss the coon asses off.
Wonder why.
They were terrible. Like, I've never got oysters and not wanted to eat all of them and more. And it was one of those where I was like, same thing. If I get sick, it's from this.
Were they raw? Is that how you do it?
And
Raw
I normally
oysters?
do. Yeah, I normally eat them raw with no cracker or no garnish or anything. Like, I like them like that.
Slurp it
But
down?
that's right. But these ones are just
Wake up with a rock hard on that morning.
I'm not
testosterone, baby.
I'm not a big
Zinc.
sushi eater, and our travels with Boss, they're big sushi guys.
Yeah.
So I've been exposed to some things I wouldn't have exposed myself to. The best sushi place I ever had in my life, and people are gonna laugh their ass off, is in Little Rock, Arkansas, at Delta with the Pacific Boys, and it was damn good.
You're close enough to the ocean there. It's close.
You're close to
Fairly.
a river.
Closer than South Dakota.
But it was the food was very good, and then we ate with somewhere else that was pretty good too. But I'm a California roll guy. That's about all.
Is there even any fish in there?
Now there's crab meat in it, and that's good enough for me.
Imitation crab meat, or
Probably so.
have you seen how they make that shit? It's like glue.
Yeah, it is.
It's like glue with food coloring.
That can't be good for you.
No, it's fish, but it's.
I don't know.
We ate it.
Shark.
The best meal I've ever had in my entire life. The best meal. If you on my dying days, this is probably gonna be the best deal. If you said, Jeff, what's the best meal you ever had in your life? It was in Lake Tahoe. We went to a Thai restaurant and they had crab fried rice. And it was Dungeness crab out of San Francisco, which is
Sweet
not but
and
2 or 3
delicious.
hours away from Lake Tahoe. I think 4 hours maybe driving. Is the best meal I've ever had in my entire life. It was so freaking good. So me and Michelle had opened up a Thai place in Abilene, and they said crab fried rice. I thought, oh,
Here we go.
hell yeah! So I asked that lady. I said, do y'all use Dungeness crab? Oh, I don't know what kind of crab it is. It's that stuff you buy at the store. You know, the red and white. I said, the imitation crab. Yeah, that's it. I said, no, thank you.
Here's how they make it. I don't know what that goop is.
Looks like oil.
I don't know what that looks like. Your crab, maybe. So that's all the crab you get. And then they bring this out. They scoop your goop.
It's just fish paste.
And then they separate it a little bit. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. Mix it in a blender.
Put in some food coloring.
Let's see. Oh, we missed something. I went too far. And then like string everything together.
Like they'll make candy.
Basically. And there's your imitation.
I'm not an imitation crab meat guy. And I'm going to tell you what, I've had some
I
before.
thought you eat California rolls.
And they may have that shit in it.
They do.
Oh, well, then I guess I do then. But that's the only thing that it looks like making candy.
Yeah. So there's your imitation crab. Gotta be good for
I think
you,
it is.
right?
I think it is fish in it though.
Uniform. Yeah.
They contain no crab meat. What says imitation? I mean, that should pretty much tell you.
Yeah, that should tell you that there's not much crab
Yeah.
in there.
I think it's a fish paste is what it is. Because matter of fact,
You
sheep's head-
started eating
sheep's head.
The impossible. You've already with your imitation crab meat. You might as well eat the fake beef at this point.
What are you talking about?
That they got like the beef that's not real beef.
That's made out of fish though. That's what they use. They fish head. They use sheep's head to use that. That's what a guy told us when he was in Bennett's fishing. That's the stuff they make imitation crab meat out of is like sheep's head and fish like that.
So your imitation crab is primarily made from a fish paste derived from whitefish, Alaskan pollock, and other ingredients to mimic the taste and texture of real crab meat.
It's Impossible Burger.
You guys, I'm not eating fucking plant paste, and I probably have had one, didn't know it. You guys up north though, y'all are fish snobs. Y'all think y'all are better than everybody. Like I'm a Long John Silver's guy, and y'all scoff and make fun of that stuff.
Yeah, why the hell would you eat fried fish? You don't know where it came from. That's like
it comes
that's
from
like
Long John Silver's.
Even down here, oh, you guys want to come to a fish fry? You're like, probably not. And they're like, well, we got some fresh crappie, some flatheads or whatever.
What's wrong with crappie?
Have you ever had a Great Lakes walleye?
Yeah, I have. Walleye's good. I'm not knocking
delicious.
that. It is, but so is Long John Silver's. Long John Silver's fish is good.
What is Long John Silver's fish?
I think it's cod or haddock.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. It's no different than the cod or haddock we have anywhere. The fish we had, the fish we had at Walt Disney World was good. We had a Harry Potter deal. They had the English food. Poor bastards in England. We got a lot of people from England that listen to us. I feel sorry for you guys because the food is not very good.
Really?
No. And up north, I feel sorry for you guys too because y'all don't have as much spices and stuff as we do.
I'll give you that. I do look forward to coming down.
The food in the South is better.
Yeah, the food in especially Louisiana, they have some food culture. Just kick ass.
The best food in the world is Coon-ass food.
Yep.
And Mexican food is probably second. And Italian food is probably third.
Done right.
Yes. But I love Mexican food. But I love Coon-ass food. I love the shit out of Coon-ass food. But those are the good food things that I like. But when you go up north, like you go to England, when you think of English food, what do you think of as a good English dish?
Bangers and mash.
Yeah. What is bangers?
Sausage.
Yeah, just sausage.
Not a good sausage.
No, sausage. That's
Right.
that's their claim to fame is
Right.
sausage.
Right.
Or spotted dick.
They stole sausage from Germany.
Yeah. Or fish and chips. And their fish and chips is good. So when we was at Harry Potter World,
That's what you got.
I got fish and chips, and it was good. You put some malted vinegar on it; is really good. But I do like Long John Silver's, and everybody up north makes fun of us. But they got to realize too, out in the middle of West Texas, where the hell else are we going to get fresh whitefish? We're not. I don't like
Nowhere.
I don't like catfish. I've never been a catfish fan. You can have the best catfish in the world. You never had mine. I don't give a shit. It's catfish.
Yeah.
And I don't like catfish. I like flounder. I like cod. I like haddock. I like walleye. Best part about going fishing up north was the shore lunch. Do they still do that with guides anymore?
It depends where you go. Like, there's a lot of trips on the rivers with like trout guys, and they'll do, they'll cook on the boat or whatever. But normally it's just brats or something like that. But yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, I don't know anybody personally that does like
northern
deal
Minnesota.
Like that. Boundary waters, like that's what they do. You just anticipate eating what you catch.
Oh, boundary. That was the best part was shore lunch.
Right.
I went on a trip one time and we went with a guy and it was cold and raining. It hit overnight. And this guy got us out. And old boys from Texas, they ain't going to handle it. We duck hunt. We can handle the cold.
Right.
We had Gore-Tex jackets, and we were prepared for it. And this was like early October, so we got really cold pretty fast. It was chilly. Anyways, he's like, well, y'all can quit whenever you want to. Kept trying to get us to quit and quit and quit. And I was like, listen, we're doing a shore lunch. So we made him do shore lunch. Potatoes, fried fish, and Welch's grape soda, I think is what we had. And that was the end of it. It was a great meal, but the shore lunches are awesome. So that's my thing up north I like.
You just get everything that you've caught that day. And
well, they'll catch, if you catch a ton of stuff, but they'll catch, you catch a couple of walleye.
Enough to eat that you don't need to keep too much more, and you don't have refrigeration, so you ain't keeping any. So
right.
We weren't keeping no fish.
But if you go for 2 or 3 days and you eat fish for 2 or 3 days, and then your last day you catch a few to take home.
See, we never was worried about taking nothing home, so I always like shore lunch.
And they just batter it up right there and fry it.
They got an old black cast iron deal. Put some oil in it.
Call it a day.
Potato. Usually you took a little bag of potatoes, would cut potatoes up real thin, fried potatoes and fried fish. I'll tell you another meal that I had up in the Boundary Waters that was really good. We did a fish boil. And they took a coffee pot, like an old percolator coffee pot, and filled it up with water and let it boil. And it would take pike and cut it in little chunks, strips, whatever, and put it in there and let it boil. And then you pour it out, and then it'll parquet squeezed butter put on top of it. Shit tastes like lobster. It was good. I was really, really surprised. I was like, "Damn, that's pretty good." But that's a pretty good idea for a percolator.
That a try.
It was good. It was damn good. But that parquet squeezed butter and a little bit of Tony seeds or something.
Talking about vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Pure nut. Right. But it's the only thing they could sell like that. But boy, it was good on that fish.
I bet.
We got going on a kick. We went and visited my buddy. He had a lake house in Tennessee. This was like over 10, 15 years ago. And he made Jiffy cornbread, and he had the spray butter. It wasn't. I'm assuming yours was like the gloop that comes out.
Just it wasn't
Squeeze,
spray.
This was the spray butter.
They didn't have aerosol spray butter at this time. They had just Parquet.
That was fucking heaven. And then we got back, and my wife and I, we got on a kick of making Jiffy cornbread, and we had the spray butter. I don't know how much of that shit we ate, and then that was 15 years ago. But now I just think back like, oh fuck. And if there are forever chemicals, I definitely have them from that.
You got your fair share.
I got my fair share from that spray butter.
See, and that's the cool thing about going on trips like that is food and an experience like that just ties it all together for one, and you never forget what it tasted like, what it smelled like, who was with you. Like even like I went to Hawaii and shot deer a few years ago, and the guide actually took us to like this little private beach, like a sunset type beach, and he's like, "We're gonna cook the deer that you shot over an open fire, like at this beach." It was badass. But it's like that's just so authentic that you can't.
Did you have any of the pasty gummy looking shit that they make out of the taro root? Is it poi?
Mm-mm.
When you were in Hawaii, you didn't do that?
Nope.
See, if I go somewhere, I like to try anything native that
Local.
somebody's famous.
Yeah.
I want to try it just to see if it's.
I didn't know about that.
Poi. It's like a paste, like they make. I think out of the taro root. They mash it together and it makes.
Was that a tough hunt in Hawaii?
No, hell no.
It wasn't.
No, it was super cool actually. Like the axis deer were taken to the islands, and don't quote me, but I mean a long time ago by maybe the Spanish or something like that. And at this point, I mean they've overtaken like almost every island. Like they're just they're bad. Like they need them eradicated. And so just one of those things where like it was very scenic. You know, like you walk out, you know, a mile or two. I mean that was the hardest part. It was hot and just walk, you know, up and down some hills and whatever. But as soon as you get set up, it's just a matter of time. You know, the sun starts going down, and you're like, man. Should be coming out anytime now. And I mean like a feed line, I mean just dozens of them start crawling out of the cracks. Like it looks like Texas in the daytime, and then you look at Texas at night and you're like, holy shit, there's all sorts of stuff here. But no different there, where I mean there was just so much game, very plentiful. So I mean the hunting as far as that went was easy. I mean it's just a matter of like when you want to shoot. When it's gonna be.
Yeah, have you seen the pheasants in Detroit? Detroit's overran with pheasants in the ghettos. In the neighborhood, not just ghettos, neighborhoods everywhere. Yeah, Douglas sent me a deal the other day from him. I saw it, but someone released some pheasants, and they're thriving in inner city Detroit. They're like everywhere.
Be like
I had no idea.
Almost like a pigeon, but they're pheasants.
Huh?
They eat better than a pigeon does.
And that's how it is, like in Hawaii or in Florida in some parts too with chickens. You know, there's chickens on the islands and in neighborhoods and stuff, but not pheasants. That's crazy.
What? But there's cultures that eat pigeons though, aren't there?
The French.
The French do. So it can't be that bad.
Squab. A lot of people. It's a fancy. I mean, that's
it's like a delicacy, right?
Yeah.
One of the guys that guides turkey hunts for me does pigeons in the summer. He said they carry 52 different diseases that are transmittable to humans. So he's like, I've eaten it before, but he's like, I don't ever eat it anymore. I'm like, all right.
See, that's one of them things you survive in the woods. You can survive. You can find a pigeon.
You eat a pigeon. Yeah. Just roll your dice on the 52 diseases.
You just cook it well. Overcook it.
But then you got.
There ain't nothing nastier than eating a pig.
That's true. Especially a wild one. If you do it wrong. Because they can be quite gamey.
And before we get off here, yes, I am going to do the 3-day challenge. I've had a couple of people have reached out to offer some money on this thing. So it is going to do. I'm going to go in the woods for 3 days and survive without. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to take water with me because I do not want to get some kind of fucking water deal. That's the only thing that's.
Get one of those life straws or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. I've got a couple of those.
I do too, but I'm
you just, can drink out of a creek.
I'm going to take some water with me. That's
no,
gonna be the
you got to
only
have the
thing.
life straw.
No, that's
cheater.
That's the only thing I'm going to do. But eating wise, I can kill stuff. But we're going to come up with some rules about the shit I can take out there with me to kill something.
What do you think is
well, like
acceptable?
on alone, they've got like a bow and arrow
slingshot,
or a bow something.
We'll give you a slingshot.
Well, I think a little bit more than a slingshot I would do. But after I do this challenge, I get to give you a challenge.
No, you don't.
Why?
I've had millions of challenges up until today. I've had the eating challenge.
You lost.
There's been a bunch of challenges that I've had to suffer through. So, well, that's just the only one that comes off the cuff. So, no, I don't have another challenge coming. I've got the.
So you're saying you're putting your foot down. You're not doing no more challenges.
I've got the taser match coming up with Maddie.
I've got to wrestle Maddie.
You didn't have to agree to that. That I was backed into a corner with. There's been plenty of times that I've had these challenges thrown on me, and you've not had any. So no, there is not a tit for tat.
I'm older.
There is not a tit for tat here. This is it.
I'm going 3 days in the woods.
Okay.
With a sleeping bag.
You'll be fine.
And a bow and arrow or something.
Slingshot.
I don't know about the slingshot shit. And water. I'm going to take water, though.
Take you a journal where you can. I know you're going to be jonesing for not being able to write your Facebook posts and your novel on Facebook. You're not going to be able to write your novel on Facebook. So just take your little journal and whatever you're thinking.
And then another thing we're going to talk about real quick is we've got a 1,000th episode giveaway. I will have more details by the end of the week on exactly what will be given away. But it will include a 3-day hunt here where you can duck hunt, goose hunt, and crane hunt one time. You will have to be, we're going to give it away at Ducks in Memphis. You will have to be a member of Instagram at Stanfield Hunting, the Big Honker Podcast, me and Andy's page, and you have to be a member of a Facebook or the Facebook page. If you don't do Facebook, Instagram work. Instagram, I'm J Stanfield68. Andy is Andy _ Shaver. And then it's the Big Honker Podcast and Stanfield Hunting, and we will have we're going to do a drawing. And there'll be some different things to get some extra ways to get drawing in. Like if you come to Ducks or you come to Squad Fest or you come to Delta and we're there and you get our picture made with this, that gives you a bonus extra entry into it. But anyways, that's what we're going to do. We're going to give away. It's going to be a 3-day hunt. It's going to come with the new War Chief from Boss. It's going to have some shin boots, some different things. So anyways, I will have the details out by Friday.
Hey, before we get off here, have you seen a great white shark in the ocean?
I have not personally seen one.
No.
But I know, like, with the trackers and stuff that are on them, they go up and down the coast there frequently.
Where you're at Cocoa Beach is the #1 shark inhabited water in the United States of America.
They're in New Smyrna, which is like 40 miles away.
Yep.
Did you see the helicopter footage? There's like they're in a helicopter. It's like a news crew. There's like 2 kids playing in the ocean, and a shark swims right up to them, and then just that fast. Because the helicopter guy's even like, ooh, this might not be good right here. And the shark is making a beeline to these kids. And then I guess it realizes that it's humans and it just fastens and just gets the fuck away.
We're in their backyard.
They're afraid of us.
And that they are. And it's just kind of like a bear. I'm scared to death of bears because I've never had no dealings with bears.
Well, and the thing with the sharks there is like the sharks and people just overlap. Like the people want to swim in the surf and the sharks use the surf to chase bait up and chase food up. Like I've seen it. Like you literally watch a shark chase a school of bait right up to the beach.
Right.
And I've seen them literally chase them so far to the beach that they end up on the beach flopping around trying to get back to the water. It's just nature. Like,
would you rescue a shark? Because I've seen the videos too where shark gets up and people drag it back in the ocean. You would?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Because I don't know how to handle them.
I would. I don't like
they're
anything.
they're so strong.
I don't want to. I mean, to a degree.
I would call somebody. I'd call 911 and let an untrained police officer do it.
An untrained police officer. I am big on anything animals. I don't like seeing anything suffer. I watched a video the other day of a chipmunk getting eaten by a snake the other day. People filmed it and shit. And I thought, I don't want to kill the fucking snake.
So you would go to a shark. How big? How big of a shark? Like a bull shark?
Well, it depends how big it is. I mean, you talking about a big ass shark.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen hammerheads like 12 to 14
I've seen some big
long.
ass. I'm talking about a 2 or 3 foot shark where I can grab it by its deal and just pull it into the water.
Oh, that's not a shark, Jeff. I don't even think they get marooned.
But
like
no,
that.
like a 6 foot shark, something that can bend around with no bone in its body and bite my ass. No,
you're gonna let it suffer.
Yeah,
You're not that much of an animal lover.
Not at all.
But I've seen videos. These full grown sharks are stuck up on the beach, and like 5 guys get there and drag it back into the ocean. If I had some
people to help, might do it. I don't want to see anything suffer, and I don't want to see. I mean, same as a whale.
Oh, I'll definitely help a whale, but I'm not helping a bitch ass shark. They're just looking. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Is that one of the greatest Seinfeld episodes ever, where he hits the golf ball into the blowhole?
Hit it in the blowhole.
Yeah.
My hot take here. I watched Jaws for the first time in a long time. What a shitty movie. That's not scary at all.
It was in 1976.
That's not scary at all. I do not understand how that got. Why people classify that as a horror movie?
It's not a horror movie. It's just a frightening movie. It's kind of like that show that's where those people are up on that radio tower, and I can't remember, Elevation or some shit.
Y'all's movies were so shitty back in the day.
No, we didn't have all the other stuff that y'all have.
Not one scary movie.
We had movies that had a plot to it. Y'all don't.
What's the plot with Jaws?
Fucking big ass shark gonna eat your ass. We got to figure a way to electrocute it.
What a plot!
It was a great movie.
Psycho's not scary. That got everybody all worked up.
Everything, though, you're putting it today's standards. You're putting everything at today's standards.
I am, because I live in today.
I know.
That's all I've got is today's standards.
Right, I understand that, but with the special effects y'all have and AI and all that stuff, movies can be so much more scary. Kind of like the rides at Disney World.
Yeah.
Were you scared on Space Mountain?
No, I wasn't scared on any of them.
Did Space Mountain bother you?
It's a good ride.
Did it bother you?
No, it's a good ride.
But the CGI rides did, didn't they?
It messed with my equilibrium.
But big time. That's the difference in technology. And that's the same with movies. The movies, Jaws movies, a great storyline and stuff. It's just today's deal. You want to see a camera coming out of its mouth, basically, while it eats somebody and the guts come squirting out.
That would be cool.
Well, there you go.
Way better.
But Jaws was a good movie for its time. Kind of like Smokey and the Bandit. I love Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, we know.
You can't make a movie today like you did Smokey and the Bandit. First of all, you got cell phones and all that screws everything up. So it'd have to go back to that time frame. Things are different nowadays.
I saw a tracker on one shark. It's like 30 years old. Like 16 foot, 1,600 pounds.
I think they live 100 years.
There's even longer than that. There's one I just came across while I was doom scrolling the one day that it was like some Arctic shark species. And
I saw
she was born in the 1600s or 1400s or something.
They tagged her back in the day, 1400s.
She didn't become, or that species doesn't become sexually mature until they're 150 years old.
Really? Where'd they find her at? Because I saw
like
the
Greenland
same thing.
or something like that. I think it was, or
like in the bottom of the ocean or something like that. Super cold.
Greenland, New California is what we call that. Because we're going to let California go away, and we'll just take Greenland.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. We know more about space than we know about the bottom of the ocean, and that's on our planet.
Do you watch the documentary on the Titan?
I haven't seen it yet. I started the poop cruise though.
Yeah.
Is that good? I've heard that's really good.
I've only seen the first 15 minutes. I don't understand. Like, there's got to be one big ass plug that you could have undone, and all that shit water could have gone into the ocean.
That's what I said too, but Payne fixed me on that one.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
You would lose your buoyancy or something?
No, there's nothing. The electricity was out on everything. They had no way to. They could.
Could be gravity fed, couldn't it?
Yeah, but there was no way to. No, it's not gravity fed on a boat.
But it could be.
Well, yeah, if you want to go build a water tank and put on top, way up above.
I'd say we do that.
They had pumps were out, and that's what caused it in hydraulics. I'm telling you what, I watched part of that show, and there is no way in hell. I'm not going on a freaking Popeyes cruise anyways on a Carnival. The way those things are, I'm telling you, it's fucking ghetto to the max. It is. It's terrible. Yeah. Those videos you see of people on them things, there's no way.
The teaser that I saw of the Titan thing made it seem like that guy had like a death wish. Did you watch the documentary?
So I watched
is that true
it.
Or not?
Yeah, I watched it. I don't know that he necessarily, like, himself had a death wish that he thought he was trying to kill himself and kill other people.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, after watching his behavior with staff and with how he operated,
no safety precautions.
Very careless, because I think he thought he knew so much, from what he had done, and that his head was as big as it was. That's ultimately what
he had God complex.
Yeah,
thought he was smarter than everybody. Yep,
100%.
Those people are dangerous.
And like to the point where like people that there's like a whistleblower that came out and was trying to say like, hey, this is imminent, it's going to happen.
Right.
That he's got decades of submarine experience all over the world, and he ended up getting fired or left or whatever it was, and then told people about it, and then as luck would have it, it's like,
was he cutting corners on his submersible?
Yeah.
Because I'd heard like you see like duct
cutting
tape
corners, rushing things. They didn't store things right, and
he just thought he had it all figured out and smarter than everybody else.
They didn't get it classed or whatever to where any charter vessel needs to be classed.
The smartest man in the world just had a rocket ship blow up the other day.
Right,
shit happens, and they have a lot of safety deals there.
Right.
But I mean, things when you're doing new things and cutting edge technology, you're going to have experiences.
How many times had he gone to the Titanic? Did it say that?
Yeah, it was like they'd been there like 20 or 30 times, I think.
Really?
Over the course of a 5 or 7 year span or something.
Would you do that?
I don't understand the fascination with that.
I don't either. There's nothing about that. I was on a submarine just on water. You can't see shit in there anyways. I want a window to look out.
If there's no risk, then fine. But I mean, you look at something like that where the pressure is as great as it is, and with that technology, it's like,
well, there's going to be a risk. But I couldn't be in a submarine anyways. That would drive me crazy to be in this room at 500 feet underwater for months.
They're sitting cross-legged, like crisscross applesauce, like packed.
Packed to each other. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, there's not a giant window that you can look out of. So you're just looking at this computer screen.
They did have a window?
Titanic.
Yeah, one window is like this big right on the nose.
So you can.
That's it.
Otherwise, you might as well just be sitting in this room running a
But
submersible.
that's what I'm saying.
There.
Like, if you're going to look at it on a computer screen, like, oh, we're at the Titanic. Look, like, you can do that up here. You can do that in West Texas.
Did they hear a noise, or was it just like that?
Well, that's what they kept. Since they built the hull out of carbon fiber, they had like sensors and stuff that would detect the, pinging or cracking as, carbon fiber is taking more pressure like that. And that's what they were saying is like the one that imploded was like the 80th dive on that hull or something like that. And so they looked at the sound recordings or audio files from the dives leading up to it. And then like, there was way more cracking and stuff going on. And then the day that it went, they heard the crack. And like in the boat, they hear the...
Yeah. I saw the video. His wife heard it happen and was like, what was that?
Yeah, and then I guess there was like a difference in the transmission. So it was like they got a transmission that they talked after they heard that click. Like they're like, oh, we were dropping weights or something like that or whatever. And it was just, it took that long to get there.
The guy was a billionaire, right?
I don't know much about him, but it seems like he was pretty well to do.
But you know what? I got to give respect for him on this. When you've got a lot of money and you chase your passion,
sure,
good for you on that. I mean, you're living your life. You've hit the lottery in life, or somebody did, and they've blessed you with enough money that you don't have to work and you can do what you want to do. And I got all respect for guys like that. I mean, whatever it's doing, if it's chasing broads, flying planes, hunting, fishing, going to see the Titanic, whatever it is, if you got those means, you should go do everything in your power to make yourself happy and your life go.
But ultimately, if you're ignorant, it can lead to death.
Well, no, you got to be.
And you drug a lot of people down with you.
Yeah. But I mean, there's guys that, if you're doing it for something on your own, but
yeah, I mean, he killed. There's 4 or 5 people with him. I mean,
like Jeff Bezos. I don't know much about the guy other than he's wealthy as hell. People are bitching at him about this $high wedding and stuff. But you know what? He spent a lot of money on a wedding, but he's got a ton of money. Ain't gonna hurt him a bit. People made a good living off of that. There are people that are benefited off his wedding. It's going to make their family and their lives a lot better. So good for him. I don't even know what his passion is. Is his, what's he want to do? Supposedly he's building him a truck now. I'm going to come out with his own truck brand. But
when you got that much money, you can do whatever you want.
The one I'm wanting to see is Bill Gates supposedly is building these nuclear power sources that are going to be in containers. And I think
he's also building something that'll block out the sun.
Well, that ain't going to happen.
That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, good luck for him.
So we have too much sunlight. He's going to block it.
God complex. Mm-hmm. Another one.
That's right.
I don't know why. Poor guys don't have God complexes. You never met a poor guy with a God complex.
Not like that.
No, never in my life. I've never met a poor guy that had a God complex.
Not like that.
Yeah, no. He's wanting to spray a dust that will
sounds real good and healthy
cut
for us.
down the amount of sunlight that goes to the earth.
Or like cloud seeding and all that with chemicals going in clouds. It's
reverse global warming.
Cloud
is what
seeding,
he's hoping to do.
I think cloud seeding works.
But the amount of chemicals and stuff that go in like that, it's like, is that good too? I don't know.
I don't know, but I just can't imagine dust on the... When Wichita Falls was in a bad drought about 7 or 8 years ago, they had some kind of film they put on the lake that would help with evaporation, supposedly.
I saw California, they do like plastic balls, I think is what it is. Black plastic balls, I think. Like the pit that you used to see at McDonald's, they covered it and it would cut down on the amount of
evaporation.
But now you got hot plastic black balls in your water. But you got to drink. You got to drink something, so we'll just deal with the cancer 30 years down the line.
I mean, that's one of those things, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You have to survive.
Yep. Right.
Well, it would be nice for all of us to go back to 1600 here on this earth when there was water spewing out of the ground and there was wells. But you want to know something? None of us want to live like it's 1600 again. No. Not one of us. Not one of us wants to go to a house that doesn't have
air conditioning,
central heat and air, or go to a grocery store.
I don't want a broken leg to be a death sentence for me.
No, but that's
break a fucking femur.
But that's what you're talking.
Done.
That's what it was like then.
Right.
So if you want to live that life.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm taking something with me for the 3 days.
There you go.
Your Amish friend.
I'm taking something with me to be able to eat something, to shoot something with.
Slingshot. Right here.
All right, I'm not arguing with you.
You can do it.
That would be better than nothing. I will give you that, but I'm not very good. I hit my thumb or some shit and be like,
Jeff's done. He got a broke thumb.
Yeah.
Can't make
Call
it.
in the helicopter.
Yep.
All right, dude, we're going to get off here. Been over 2 hours, so appreciate you making the long trek out
Connor,
here. Connor,
appreciate you, bud.
Fucking
Absolutely.
Houston.
Great to catch up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless you, my friend. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Hug someone. Tell them you love him. Bye.
Watch for deer.